Eons ago, during the age of the Magi, the world was something other. Magic is all that there was and all that was needed. Legend states that a cataclysmic event brought a great frozen age to the world of Lacrin, and soon after, a new era dawned. Though they say the ancient magics of the Magi still lie buried and lost, scattered around the world, lying in wait for those with the courage to wield it to discover. Welcome to the world of Lacrin and the continent of Thelmecia. Noble knights, roaming orcs, mischievous goblins, and idyllic wondrous lands, just waiting to be explored. Now, a new peril aspires to plunge Thelmecia into despair once more, but not before a few unheard-of heroes take their chance at triumph. Welcome to Tablestory, Darkfire.
Hello everyone,
Hello.
Welcome to the stream. I don't know how long you were on a black screen. We were talking about John Sandman's acting experience and we got distracted. PB doesn't think it's real. Place your bets in chat. Is it real or is it not? The John Sandman experience.
It's not called that.
Welcome to the stream. Yay!
Yay!
It's Table Stories Darkfire, featuring me and these other types. The first type, pumpkinberry type.
Yes.
What type are you?
I am playing a high elf monk.
Yay! Tiger Rider type. What type are you?
I just wanted to say you look really good today, Brad.
Thank you so very much.
Like so good. Like that lavender is the perfect color.
Lavender looks really good on you with your beard and everything.
You know what it is? I think it's the rage.
It's
that
the
he's
rage
feeling.
and it's the
It gives
rage
him a
and
little
stress.
color to in.
You had a chair cover actually, Brad? Get a new
Right.
chair cover.
No, that's just a blanket where I was so damn cold last night. I had it.
It makes you
I had it
pop,
on.
dude. It really brings
Thank you.
out your
I'll keep it.
I did get a new chair cover though.
Yeah, well.
Whoa,
mine's better.
wait, what is that? Is
Mine's
that
better.
space?
Mine's better.
Galaxy, yeah.
No, we don't look at that.
It's actually not a chair cover. It's a skirt that I put
don't-
over, but
we
it
don't-
works.
No, we're not looking at your chair cover. We're looking at mine.
Fine. Okay. Well,
Look at it shine.
chat, vote now. Which chair cover is your favorite?
Look at it
Brad?
Wait,
The
Tiger's
right
got one
answer.
too.
Tiger's
No, I
got
just
one
have green
too.
screen. I just got a green.
Yeah, but it's
Green
green
just
screen.
fell
He can make
down.
it whatever he wants. Let's add
That's
to
true. Ooh, that is a good point.
that. Correct.
Tiger might win.
Tiger wins.
Wait, what about
Tiger
yours?
wins.
I got a dog
Black.
sleeping down
Where's
there.
your chair cover?
I don't need a chair cover.
He's not
'cause I
even.
don't have a
He's,
tall chair.
He doesn't
Me
have any
Yeah,
neither.
chair.
that's because John and Whack are standing. They don't sit in chairs.
I am standing right now. I'm sure.
Are you actually?
John is super short and standing.
I'm really
I thought
short.
maybe you
in
had a
life.
standing desk. I thought maybe you had a standing desk.
Well, actually,
Whack
do.
is squatting. That's what he does. He just squats the whole
I
time.
feel like
I'm
Black's one of those
taking a
kneeling
dump the
chairs.
whole show.
I feel like he's in a
We all
kneeling chair where his knees are down and shit.
Dude, that's a real streamer. You're just constantly on the toilet streaming.
Yeah.
Like just
That would actually
Why
be
do you have
pretty
to get up?
useful sometimes.
It's like a PewDiePie video.
That's the real reason I have this. Is because I got a PewDiePie chair and I have to cover it.
really?
No. It,
Okay.
it might be. It might be soon enough. I don't think I can cover a free chair. If they send you a free chair, right? You gotta be like, yeah, check it out. Don't forget
Yeah.
to use code.
Is it like a DX racer, dude?
I think it's clutch chairs. They're pretty nice. They're pretty nice, but they haven't sent me one yet, so fuck 'em. Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. It almost didn't happen. My internet has been a little funky today. So if the stream does some crazy shit, then that's what it is. There's a small chance that I will lag out or I'll just vanish and the stream will go down. If that happens, I apologize now. But as far as I can tell, touch wood, fingers crossed, everything's going okay. It appears to be going smooth.
Smooth criminal, dude.
Criminal. Ow! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum.
Ow!
Sorry, I was totally backing you up, but I muted myself, so you were by yourself there.
Well,
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I failed.
Whack Steven, what type are
failed
you?
you.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard my name in there.
What type are you?
I'm the type that normally DMs, but I'm just a player on the show.
Just a
and
lowly
I'm-
peasant today.
I'm just a lowly peasant. I'm playing a bard named Erodir.
Wonderful. John Sandman, what type are you?
I'm a water Pokemon.
Water Pokemon. Look at him. He's a Poliwhirl. Can't you tell?
Poliwag. Come on.
Oh yeah,
Grow up.
Poliwag because they're small. Oh, he's gonna get me. One day he's gonna get me for that one. He's gonna show up in the middle of the night, appear in my house. But how did he get in? He can fit through the keyhole.
That's small, dude. Jesus.
I bet John, he's not that short. People, I remember before.
It's weird because like you don't see like people who streams like their bodies.
You
or
don't know,
anything. You just
right?
see, like, that's all you know.
Weird.
So like some people are like, dude, you're actually shorter than I thought, and some people are like, damn, you're way taller.
I
than
thought you were gonna be.
Because everyone makes.
I thought you were gonna be a lot.
Everybody
shorter
just
than you
says you're shorter than I thought.
Yep.
To you?
Yeah.
Because like everybody's like, you look like a monster. You look like you'd be like 6'6", and I'm 5'6". So people are like,
Yeah, it's like that angle down, like yeah.
like the day you meet me, BradWOTO, if that ever day comes, you will literally look down at me and be like, peasant.
are. You filthy peasant.
Wait, have you guys never met in real life ever?
No.
Oh,
This surprises me.
that's lame.
I think you're the
And it's
only
sad.
other streamer I've ever met since being a streamer. I think.
You
And
just
that's
have-
because you were forced to go out to LA.
And that was because I was forced at gunpoint
and I forced you to hang
to
out
go
there.
to Universal. Anyway, welcome to the stream, one and all. Today is the 8th episode, I believe. which
In a
marks
row.
Month 2. In a row of Le Tablestory, Le Darkfire. Today is our French episode. Can we count to 10 in French, starting with John?
Bonsoir.
No, that is not the number 1 in French.
Okay.
We have
I was
failed.
just trying to hit on
We
you.
failed. We tried and we failed. Congratulations, everyone. We cannot speak French. So that means we can't do the whole thing in French. I'm sorry. We tried,
That's my bad, guys. I'll get better.
but we can't do it. I guess we'll have to do it in English. That sucks. That sucks. I feel rushed because I feel like we started like really late, but we didn't start as late as I was expecting in my
Dude, we
head.
started the normal
If
time.
you-
we
Kind of,
normally
yeah.
start.
My head.
If you figure your time that you usually spend rambling factors in, then we're early.
But I was so panicked because I really thought that we were going
I'm
to
gonna
start
eat my
late.
salad and
So
enjoy this.
I feel crazy. All right, I'm going to start right now with Drift. Drift, you find yourself lost, alone,
eating a salad.
eating a salad. you're in a gigantic mansion in LA. We were talking about how it was me and Vertigo. We were talking about how Drift is 100% related to Clutch in some way. By the way, like
That's what everyone was saying to me. I
For
was getting
real.
so many tweets like, "You are Clutch, like just secret. You're a tiefling Clutch, like you
young Tiefling Clutch. So
Yeah.
I want to figure out some way, like, and I just want everyone to know that I'm setting this now. Canon. Drift is an ancestor of Clutch. Canon.
No, that's
Right.
awesome.
We're gonna figure out how
Awesome.
as we play. I have an idea of how it might go down, but at some point, some way, we'll see.
You know what? Can I interject on that? You know what my favorite thing is?
Yeah.
Is when we're sitting here doing this and my character will finally start talking, or like he'll get a little aggressive. Instantly people in chat will be like, it's poo-poo cakes. It's poo-poo cakes. It's fucking, it's like,
Oh yeah, as soon as you get aggressive or angry,
they're like, it must be poo-poo cakes now. Fuck you.
Yeah,
All right?
well, right. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you. Even if he only plays poo-poo cakes, okay? Yeah, he can do what he wants. Okay? He's been typecast. I told him he has to play poo-poo cakes.
Brad, you're not helping.
The dude.
When has Brad ever helped ever?
Never.
Yeah.
He's helped me quite a bit, actually.
People do that a lot. I mean, I guess I don't know. People can make up their own thing. They can make up their own thing, right? That's what it is. You're playing your character how you want to play your character. Doesn't matter if it's exactly the same as poo-poo cakes in a Warforged. Doesn't matter if it's completely different and people interpret it wrong.
I wish it was poo-poo cakes. You know how much farther we would have gotten by now?
Nowhere.
No, we'd be dead. We would be dead.
You would have personed the whole party and they would have died of fucking exhaustion. We'd still be in the fucking cavern thing.
Nah, he would have figured it. He would have figured his own way out of there with that. He'd be like, I'm not staying here with you guys. I'm leaving.
Staying.
He just left.
Yeah, no, I don't think 19's very much like poo-poo cakes.
Nothing like poo-poo cakes.
At
Not
all.
even close.
I can see how Drift and but you know, there's probably a bunch of people who have never seen what we're
Fractured
talking about.
Worlds.
So they're just,
They're like, what's a poo-poo cake?
they're like, what are you talking about?
We
guys?
played in a campaign together. I ran one of the last campaigns I ran was called Fractured Worlds, and it had John in it as a character called Clutch, who is relatively similar to Drift in the sense that
Totally,
he
because it's me playing it. I'm such a lazy D&D player.
well, I mean, he's still. I think I've noticed some things that you're doing with Drift that are different, and I appreciate.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But I think just kind of like because he's kind of he's sort of like an everyman. You're like a slightly more curious. Clutch was an everyman almost, but kind of like happy-go-lucky, kind of always pretty relaxed, kind of in the situations. And Drift is similar but younger, and I think that works quite well. Poo-poo Cakes was the character that Tiger played, who was a fucking wizard satyr, who was very super intelligent and knew everything, whereas 19 doesn't know jack shit. So no, I don't think that they're very similar. Also, Drift is related to Clutch. You know, we don't know how far removed it is.
I knew about this.
We don't know how far removed it is, but it is for sure going to be something.
Clutch talk like this, and Drift is just
you watch by the end of this episode, something horrific's going to happen. Drift is going to be torn in two by a fucking panther, and it will not be able to be canon anymore. And I'll be like, oops, oopsie. Guess it's not.
Please, no.
Guess he's a
What if I
descendant.
just?
No.
I think I decided what I'm going to roleplay for my next character.
Yeah.
I'm going to roleplay Bill Cosby in prison.
No.
Oh my god.
All right, let's start playing the game. And remember, if Tiger Rider's character dies, he is ejected from the campaign.
You promise.
As much as I would love for you to stay in the campaign, now you can't. Okay. I can't do a good Bill Cosby impression, and I won't. So, because it's not my channel. Sort of is my channel. Not enough. I care about this one. Let's begin today's episode. If you guys are ready.
Always
ready.
Last time, the gang left the finally left the Gate of Fire, and they were in a cavern with a creature known as the Long Stick. Using nothing but wit and ingenuity, they avoided the Long Stick and escaped the cavern and began to work their way down the mountainside. They figured out that they were kind of in fact, I'll give you the world map. Why not? World map's pretty, isn't it? Let's have a look. I need to I need to rejoin it as a player. Rejoin as player, please. Thank you. Roll 20. Thanks so very much. I'm very underprepared today. I'm sorry, everyone. Down here somewhere, far away, near the village of Drit, which was burned in the second episode. You guys found out that you guys were like in this mountain range kind of area here. You worked your way down to a river, had a wash and a rest, and you knew, I think for some reason, Rin understood the area really well. I think you were the one that kind of knew exactly where you were at. You knew that nearby there was a town called Clay Pass, and obviously Drit was here. You decided after a little while that you would head to Drit because ideally I think your plan was to head a little further off this way, head east to the capital city of Rosegard in general. So you were going to stop by Drit, see what was going on, and you began to head towards Drit. You did so successfully in the sense that you basically found Drit. It's a big smoke plume. What's that called? Smoke.
Plumes are applicable.
They're always in Western.
Yeah.
They're always in Western movies when they would do the smoke thing.
Charades.
Smoke signals?
Smoke signal. Giant smoke signal.
was fun.
Is it though?
Is it? Is that what you're really thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Signals were used for communication.
So they burned a town down to make a smoke signal?
No, I'm saying it looked like it to you.
Oh,
It's really
oh,
easy.
okay.
It's really easy for you guys to locate it because there's just a smoke signal coming up. Basically, is what we're saying.
Okay.
No, English is my mother
try
tongue.
to like give Brad a little bit of leeway today.
Yeah, everything's good,
Brain
Brad. We're having a
freeze.
great time.
I'm having a great time. It's fine. I just can't. I just can't speak. I swear to God, my grasp on the English language has deteriorated massively over the last few years. I can't work out why. It's probably a serious matter that I'm going to ignore until I can't speak anymore at all. Also, I just couldn't remember it because I haven't watched a Western in forever, and I'm not from America, so I don't fucking.
It's because Westerns suck.
Whoa!
Okay. Look, listen, I will eject you from the campaign. All right. So,
Well, you got yourself a six shoe. You want to take this out back, boy?
I'll be your huckleberry.
So, on your way to the town of Drit, you did encounter a big old fucking mountain cat. You defeated it. And that is where we're going to pick up today. You guys are in the forest. Well, no, you're not in the forest, really. You're sort of you're in a vaguely wooded, nature-based area. Would be a better
we
way to
just
put it.
killed that thing, huh?
And you just killed the
Yes,
big
we did.
mountain cat.
Oh yeah, I feel good right now.
I think, if memory serves, it was punched
Rin.
in the mouth, like not in the mouth, but
Inside the mouth.
inside the mouth, with like an epic uppercut. I think. What was it? Ryuken from Rin. Shoryuken from Rin, which
It
was
got rinned.
it got seriously rinned.
Yes.
Yeah, that is where we're going to pick up from today. You guys find yourselves in this area. You're real close to the town of Drit. You can tell because there's that smoke signal, very obvious and nearby, but there's also a distinct smell now that you're relatively close to the town. You can smell that kind of charred wood
Body smell.
There is a sinister
Like bacon.
smell of something else underneath, it permeates the air here. It's been relatively clean air because you guys were in that stuffy cave. You've had this like nice clean air, but you've come to. You're probably aware, really, that I guess on this map you're actually kind of here now, but you would be on the very edge of town, technically, if there were a town left. So, Rin stands above the corpse of a giant mountain cat, which has various wounds from a great sword, from a couple of eldritch blasts, and a punch. What do you guys want to do now?
I think we were headed towards to Drit, just to kind of take a look about.
Did we already leave the cat?
Well, no, that's why I put you back there. I mean, I can throw you straight back onto this battle map if that'll help you remember. But I think we're picking up like the second after we left off.
Okay. Yeah. So
in case you wanted to do stuff with this cat, I don't know what.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm asking.
I remember.
What do you want to do?
I remember because, you know what? Just drift.
Yeah.
Next time you're going to attack a creature to kill for dinner, you should probably pick something you can fight yourself.
But I have you guys.
What if you didn't, though? You ran off on your own.
Then I would have killed it myself.
He doesn't say anything. He turns. He just turns.
does Drift just like covered in horrible like scratch marks and like
I am beat up. I am very beat up. I mean, that heal helped me out a lot, but yeah, I'm not looking great.
Is everyone all right?
I've been better.
I've seen better days.
I'm still a
Is
bit
anyone hungry?
Tea?
No, I meant the cat. I meant we could cut the cat up.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant too.
Well, I'm not really hungry. I can't say that I have a taste for, well, creatures like that, but suppose if anyone else is interested.
We can definitely take its fur. We can take some meat, package it in our packs for later, for any times that we need it.
I think we'd have to cook it first before packing it up. Otherwise, we'd just attract other wild animals.
I mean, how close are we to town? How far out are we?
You can give me a perception check if you want to take a guess.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
So make a roll.
Based off,
I feel
off the
like-
smoke.
Yeah.
Can I make a roll for survival to skin this cat? Or I'm not sure. Would that be survival? What would that be?
I would
Would it be
say.
nature?
Yeah.
19's just gonna start doing it.
That's yeah. He's just gonna start skinning it and stuff while you guys are talking.
A survival would make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
16, 10, and a 15 on a perception. You're all pretty aware. The reason you can use a perception check to even figure out how close you are to town is because you can smell it. And although the plume of smoke is still large, and you'd be aware that you're pretty close. Like you're within probably 30 minutes max walking distance.
Oh.
Like you're real close. You're on the edge of town.
Great.
Probably you're gonna
Okay.
walk a little further and break the clearing, and you'll probably see whatever's left of Drit. 19. What do you have though to attempt to skin the mountain cat?
I can
You're
hand
doing
him
it with
Ero's
a-
knife.
Yeah.
If she hands me the knife, that's fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was just gonna use the straight up. They'll just like start using part of the longsword to do it.
Okay, so I'll see you start doing that, or like maybe motion that you're gonna do that, and she'll come up. Oh no, you don't want to use that, and she'll hand you Ero's dagger that she still has not returned.
She's giving Eros dagger.
Hero.
I don't really look plussed about it.
Yeah, Hero, your dagger. Does it look like it would carve up an animal well? Like, what type of dagger are we dealing with here? Like a basic.
It's a pretty straightforward kind of dagger. I think if anything, it's probably a bit curved, and it looks fairly plain. Nothing stands out about it.
Okay, so it's just a standard-looking dagger.
Yeah, it's a standard-looking dagger.
So 19 just starts cutting into the flesh of the mountain cat. He's drawing lines down some of the muscles. He's pulling the fur and skin back from the flesh relatively well. It's not like the most expert level work that you would ever imagine, but it's pretty decent. But it's going to take you a while. Like he begins working, and you can tell straight away that he's going to be here for a little while. Like we're talking an hour max.
Oh my god!
Because this thing is huge. This thing is enormous.
Big
And
ass
also-
cat. How
and
big would you
also-
say this is? Like, what would be the size of it?
Let me think of how big this thing would be. Well, I guess it would probably
The
be
size of a bear?
stretched out. Yeah, we're talking like a bear size, but it's a cat as well, so it's long. So probably like, this is like a 10-foot cat kind of thing. And big. It's muscular. And also you want to do a decent job, so you're not just tearing at this thing, so it's going to take you a little while. You've also like never done this before. You find that you probably have some strange muscle memories kicking in, and you're flicking your wrist in a certain way. Yeah, you're flicking your wrist in a certain way that seems a little unfamiliar, like why you're doing it, but it works. But there's definite muscle memory going on that's helping you here. You have a lot of odd sensations and feelings that are coming back to you, not necessarily like direct memories, but you know, remembering how like, oh, I kind of know how to do this, and as a feeling almost. So this is a process. So while he's doing that, you guys might want to
Can
do something else.
I short rest while that's happening?
Absolutely. If you successfully make it the hour, yeah.
Oh
If-
my God.
I just want to know what you guys are doing first.
If I short rest or hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to think of what I want to do.
While you're doing that, 19, as he's skinning, he looks back at the group, and the first thing he says, because he just assumes that nobody knows why he would know how to do this, which is what I was
actually
getting
gonna
at with
ask,
the skinning thing, was he kind of looks back and drift.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Okay. I walk over
Have you ever done this?
many times.
Good. Hands him the dagger.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna do it better than 19.
Give me a survival check then.
Higher than a 14.
I have this weird feeling.
Oh my god.
Wait. I'm gonna be good guy DM here. I have this weird feeling you still have a bardic inspiration.
Yeah, he probably would, wouldn't he?
I do.
He didn't use it, did he?
Bardic inspiration lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I'll say you're in minute 9.
Can I? Please.
I'll be nice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Roll a d6.
It's a 1d6.
You add a d6 to that 8
I need to get a 6 to tie him.
to do as good of a job at least. That's a 4. It's a 4, which brings your total roll to a 12, which is still okay. He's still doing a pretty good job. I think maybe one of the things that
It's just big, way bigger than me. So like this is like I'm used to like little foxes and like doing like rabbits and stuff like that. No
for
problem.
sure.
But because this thing's so big, I'm just like I'm like smiling up at 19.
You can tell he's
My arms just like getting stuck in the meat.
He's doing a good job, and he's got an expert hand at work. But the thing is huge, and maybe also you're a little weaker than 19.
Absolutely.
Because he is much larger than you, and he's also stronger than you. So probably that's what is happening here. You also remember one of these random stories that Iridir told you as you whistle while you work, and it seems to help focus you while you go.
I need you to know that when I was first waking up, you probably remember me mentioning a man named John, correct? I lived with him on a farm for a while.
Yeah, 19. You told me all about John.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, he's the reason I know how to partially do this. I was helping him and his family track food and hunt food. And I gave you the knife because you seemed very quick to attack this animal for dinner. I was curious how much you knew. Do you need help or would you like help?
And as he says that, I want to... Longsword comes out again, and I just want to like... You know how like if you were to take like a really big knife and instead of holding it by the handle, you were just kind of trying to like maybe shave something off like a fruit or something like that? Like taking the sharp ass part of the sword, instead of grabbing the hill, he's grabbing like the sword, and he wants to help Drift start cutting this apart.
Like teaching me like angles and stuff for big. Yeah. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, you can work together. I think we'll just take the 14 as the maximum here. So you guys together begin working on this thing. I think it's still going to take you a little while, maybe because of the two of you working on it at the same time.
Teamwork.
It'll be a little quicker going, but it's still going to be a little whiles. And since I assume Rin has sat down and has begun resting in some form or manner, that you might as well at least take the hour.
Cut up. Cut up good.
Is Iridir doing anything crazy here?
You want to avoid those parts because those are where you cut it open, and we cannot take the head. The head was smashed. That meat will be tainted.
But what about like?
I mean, if we're sort of taking a short rest, I'm just gonna kind of noodle around on the loot.
Yeah, you're just messing around on the loot.
Yep, I'm doing a song of rest basically. If anybody's trying to roll hit dice.
But I can't roll hit dice if I've already rolled mine, correct?
Correct. If you're at 0,
Yeah, I'm at 0.
Will you please buy a recorder? Whack.
No, why would I do that?
I'm gonna send
send
him
you a
one.
recorder.
Yeah, I am
I don't want a recorder.
too. You're getting a recorder and you're gonna play it.
Hero does not have a recorder.
No, yeah, for sure.
Why would I?
So if
Why
we
would,
get
I,
you
why
like
would
a
I
mute-
get a recorder? Hero doesn't have one. That makes no sense.
Well,
Brad, can we make something
Maybe
happen?
we just want you to have a recorder.
I'm not going to
Nobody
say
needs a
that there
recorder.
isn't
Let me
now definitely a magical recorder somewhere. But
But
maybe one manifested somewhere
Go,
on the map.
baby. I'm going to all the shops. All of them. I'm gonna
Shit.
But the magical recorder you don't roll a dice for it. It's only played as well as the actual player plays it in real life. But the effects
You
are
gotta start
amazing
training,
if you do
buddy.
well.
you gotta start training.
I'm
So
gonna play it bad on purpose. If you guys just fucking force one on me, that's horrible. I'm gonna play it backwards.
So you guys rest up here on the outskirts of Drit in this kind of somewhat forested area. The whole area around Drit is relatively thickly forested anyway. There's a river on one side and then the mountains on the other. On the north side there is a very deep, thick forest known as the Witten Woods, and then on the south side there's some plains that lead south towards the Spellswift Valley. And you guys are just chilling, and nothing crazy happens here. It's still, I think actually you were traveling for a couple of hours. I've forgotten, I didn't write down, so I think we're probably after this hour approaching something like midday. By the time you guys finish this short rest, if you want to use a hit die, you may, if you have them.
Really want them though.
I assume the Song of Rest was being played on the lute, essentially, mechanically.
Yes.
Yep. And that gives you an extra D6, I think. That is super powerful at early levels, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
But also, I guess you need that kind of stuff because it's tough out there. Anyone doing hit dies? No?
I'm out, unfortunately.
No?
I don't think I need to.
Okay. So, at the end of the hour, 19, you were pelting this, right? You're not trying to cut it up for meat. Or...
I would assume, because I can't eat the meat. So to me, it was more about getting the skin off and everything.
Yep.
For like blanket clothing, because we can sell that stuff.
Yeah.
That was 19's thought process, was honestly to be, I have RP stuff. I'll just wait till we're in RP for the next part, because actually we might want to cut off meat because we could take it to
That's what I was thinking.
I'm straight up cutting meat because I know we're close to Drit when we did that perception.
we could take it back to Drit for people that are surviving.
People probably need it. Yeah.
So,
I was taking it back from me. But
I mean,
yeah, we can.
you can assume that you guys have had this conversation if you want. That the idea was that while you were cutting this up, we'll cut up this bits of it and take some cat steaks back with us. So you cut this thing up into multiple sections of food. I don't know how you're storing it or where, but you also have a big.
You would probably carry the meat in the skin for now. Is probably how you'd carry it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
There you go.
You'd probably like make the skin like a bag and probably keep the meat in that.
I was brought up in London. I have no
Tiger
idea
lives
how
in
to-
Colorado. He knows this shit.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to pelt an animal. I think the largest animal that runs naturally around in this country is like a weasel or something. Like, we don't have big cats.
A weasel.
A little weasel. Show us a ferret.
Just bring him up.
Yeah, there he is. So you can add, I guess, that one add big cat pelt or mountain cat pelt.
Nice. That's gotta sell.
It's a decent cut as well. And we'll say, damn, like 16 rations worth of cat meat.
Let's go.
That's a lot of cat meat.
Wow.
So yeah, like 16 decent pieces of cat meat, food wise.
Delish.
Brad, can I interrupt?
Mm-hmm.
Drift. Since we're finished here, you know that since this was a part of your kill, you were supposed to drink some of the blood. That's what I was taught.
Wait, what?
Yes. And you can since 19 has no facial expressions, he's definitely being very sarcastic and just trying to fuck with him. Yes, I've heard it will make you stronger.
I share a look with Rin for a second. I just look. I raise an eyebrow towards Rin.
Have you not heard about this, Hero?
I have. Hero, what about you?
Of course. I was surprised that he hadn't done it yet.
Wait, my sensei never told. You're telling me that you drink the blood and you get stronger?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
You have to boil it first. Make sure it's really hot.
So why don't we all get blood for ourselves? Why don't we do this together? This is a group activity.
It was.
Well, it was your kill. We
Yes,
were simply assisting. It wouldn't be right if we were the ones that imbibed it.
Okay.
Blood tea, have you?
Wait, it's like blood tea, like her tea? It's like your tea?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Exactly
Okay.
like my tea.
Are we gonna cook it up right now, or are we gonna wait till we get to Drit?
I think it's almost best we do it now. I mean, but you have to boil water. Do you have anything to start a fire?
I do. Why don't I go ahead and get the fire started for you?
Let's get the fire started. Are you kidding me?
You're also going to take a tooth, right? We killed a saber-toothed tiger. Would you not want to take one of those teeth?
I would love to.
I would also like to take one of the teeth.
All right, everyone roll me a survival check.
23 from Rin.
Oh my god.
Fuck yes, gonna have the perfect tooth.
Yeah.
Here we go. Jesus.
A 9 from John Sandman, whoever that is.
Oh crap, my bad.
I'm just going to assist. Can I just use that survival check to assist John? Like I'm still trying to help him. Like I'm still trying to help Drift is 19. Because I don't need a tooth.
Nope. He's already rolled. It's too late. It's too late.
I get like a back molar. It's not even shaped cool. It's just sort of flat.
Oh wait, here it is, not doing it now. So it's just these two. All right, so we'll say that each of you goes for one of the incisors. It's not a saber-toothed tiger like the picture.
Not getting my hands dirty. What's wrong with you?
It's not a saber-toothed tiger, but it does have 2 big fucking incisor teeth at the front. Rin very, very carefully and expertly extracts this tooth. It's a pristine, large canine. Yeah, the incisor is the bunny tooth. Yeah, canine. You get one. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's maybe the size of your hand. It's huge.
It's awesome.
Drift goes in, attempts to do the same thing, but it's difficult to get this thing out of the thing's head, and you cut a little bit of the gum away, maybe yanking on this thing, but it's wedged in deep. 19 comes walking over briskly to attempt to help you when you snap it. You get the tooth out, but it's snapped at the top. You don't have the root of the tooth. It still looks kind of cool. The canine, not the incisor.
Rin, how's yours look?
She'll hold it up.
Do we actually hear the choir, like the music on Roll20 right now? When Rin holds her
That's dang.
sparkling.
It's pretty neat.
You did good. Mine's subpar.
I can show you how next time.
Okay. Blood?
Yeah.
Blood?
All right.
What do I do, 19?
What are you
I've never
guys
done
doing
this
with the?
before. I've done this for 5
I
years.
mean, do you have a vial or something you can put the blood in?
Use your canteen.
My canteen?
Mm-hmm.
But there's water in it.
So dump the water out.
Hold on, you don't need to use any of that. I want to go over to can I do a check and see if there's like a leaf that would maybe be able to like scoop up like a strong leaf, like almost like a, would be like a palm leaf or something like that, or maybe like bark that would be like in the shape of like a bigger spoon or something like that? Could I look for something like that around me, Brad?
Give me a perception check.
Perception. Okay.
You could also just use the inside of the tooth if you wanted. Use it like a goblet.
Got a 7.
You find a pretty crap-looking piece of bark that will hold some liquid in it.
You could use this.
It's just like a vaguely bowed piece of wood.
You could maybe try to go find a leaf or something yourself. Something that would.
I just want to do it how everyone's done it. You know, apparently, you guys have all done this. I want to make sure I do.
Most people drink it straight from the belly of the beast.
How do you boil it then?
Not all boil, but it's probably safer if you boil it.
Okay. Let me see if I have anything. I'm gonna look real quick on the ground just around me for something a little more sturdy.
Okay, give me a perception check, please, my boy.
Anything for you, Dad. Oh my God!
You find
the most pristine.
Perfect.
Does he have a new cup, Brad?
Dude, yeah. You turn around and you find a cast iron pot.
Oh, wow.
No! Stop!
It's half buried.
I'm adding it to my inventory if you're being honest.
It's half buried. It's a decent like pot.
Does he trip over it like while he's going to try and figure this out?
No, he didn't. Dude,
well, looky there. This is crazy.
That is a natural 20. He turns around and there's a piece of the stone that looks kind of odd, and he touches it and it's metal, and he drags it, and it's just an old pot that's been left here a long time ago by some old camp or something.
That's gonna be so helpful.
You just have a small cast iron pot that you perfect.
Well, what do you know, guys? Look at what we got here. This is crazy.
Oh, that's weird.
You can't see it, but there's a look of disbelief on 19's face, even though he doesn't have like facial expressions.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we can use this, yeah?
You might even be able to heat it in that. What kind of cup is that?
I wonder what that's doing out here, actually. She's going to look at Eero, a little uncomfortable.
I suppose it could be left here by someone. Someone perhaps that was caught unawares if they were camping.
They might have been in a hurry.
Perhaps. Then I look towards the cat.
Oh.
Okay, we'll get out of here. Let's just do this. So I'm gonna go over to the cat and I'm gonna just awkwardly kind of dip, oh, this is so gross, into the body of the cat where like there's a opening. Yeah. I'm just gonna dip the pot in and like sort of scoop out a nice, decent size, like I would say, like if you're thinking in alcohol terms, like 2 shots of blood.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just getting in there, and then I'm gonna be like, fire.
I mean, did you guys already make a fire or not? I don't know.
I think.
Yeah, I offered to. Yeah.
So you already have a fire.
Okay, great. So
This is how Harry Potter started.
I'm just gonna put it over the fire, lean it against so it doesn't put the fire out, but put it in between 2 logs so it's sitting up.
You know what you could do as well, Drift, is if I'm correct, you're studying the arts of being a warlock. Is that correct, or something along those lines?
Yeah.
Maybe you could. Don't forget, if you have powers, maybe while you're boiling the blood, you could put some kind of, something that would help you even more. Maybe some kind of spell from when you were growing up or learning to be a wizard or whatever it is you are.
Doesn't really work like that.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you could teach me.
You want to learn to be a warlock?
No, but I would like insight.
You want to get inside of a warlock? What is he saying, guy? What do you mean you want to get inside?
Amber eyes shrink real small, go real big, just stares at him.
Guys, what is he saying? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, perhaps he's interested in having some sort of sexual encounter with you.
I look straight, my pupils The amber people are just really small. Sexual encounter.
With me? I'm little. What do you mean?
What is that?
We're both 19. I'm 19.
I'm 19.
I'm 19.
But
Very impressive.
You want with me? No.
No. I do not know what that means, but all I want is to learn. That's it. I just want to understand. I'm not asking for anything else, just to understand. Do you understand that I'm just trying to understand?
Yes. Do you understand that you cannot have sexual encounters with me?
I don't understand this sexual encounter you speak of.
Please explain it to him, Drip.
Talking about fornication.
I think the blood's ready to go, guys. I think sexual encounters is
The coppery taste, the coppery smell it seems about right.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna grab just like I'm gonna rip off like just a small piece so I can hold the pot of my clothing and whatever. So now I have a rip in my clothing, and I'm gonna hold the pot. Does anyone have anything I could pour this into? I guess I sort of just.
Your mouth. You pour it into your mouth.
Well, you should let it cool first.
Yes.
How long
Very
should I let
hot.
it cool? Okay, I'll put it right here. Hold on. So as I was saying, 19 sexual encounters is. Do you have a? Well.
What?
Rin's gonna look at Hero and try not to laugh.
I'm completely straight-faced. I'm nonplussed about the whole thing. I have no qualms about sexuality.
Do
I
you-
have what?
Okay. Do you have a penis?
No.
Do you have any sort of have you heard of reproduction in
Yes.
humans? Okay, so that's how
Likely.
we reproduce in that way
Mm,
with the man's some,
yes,
you know.
I understand.
Okay, so that is sexual encounters would be you taking your penis and touching me with
I
it.
do not have a penis. I do not have any of these things. I could not do any of these things to you or with you. I'm sorry.
So when you said it, you understand why I wasn't, you know, it's fine, but it's a not.
I'm sorry, Drift. I cannot do any of these sexual things you want me to do for you. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, you're not getting it 19. I didn't want that in the moment, so I was just telling you not to, like, I was making sure you didn't want that. Did
I
you
look
want
at Hero and Rin.
He is young.
Hmm. He is 19.
Yeah, I'm 19.
I think the blood is ready now.
Oh, I think so too. Okay. So I'm going to take the blood.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold it up, and in like an honorable just way, I'm going to take just I'm going to take the dagger. I have like the little dagger out of my pocket, and I'm going to hold it up.
Or you still have the one I gave you.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll just use your dagger then. I'm going to hold it up with the pot in hand and dagger in my hand and be like, is this right?
Yes. And you should probably say thank you to the animal for giving it giving you power.
Yes.
That's typically how it's done, right? 19?
Yes.
Hero, do you have anything to add?
Oh no, I think you've gotten everything covered.
I would like to thank this animal for sacrificing himself for us. I would like to. Huh?
I think it's a female.
Oh. Did I say? Oh. I would like to thank this female animal for sacrificing itself for us, our party, and the 16 rations in which we took from it. I would also like to thank my crew of friends for helping me beat the beast. Can I stab it?
You can do what you want.
What do you want to stab it for?
Oh, you said
I don't
it,
know. I
sorry.
just feel like after that speech, I'm riled up right now. I just want to stab something.
Do as you please.
I stab it in the neck. As I stab it in the neck, I lift up my head and I drink the whole thing.
All
2
right.
shots.
So you just power back 2 shots of fucking hot, boiling blood.
No. It's
No, he let it cool.
let it cool.
It's
Let it
called
cool.
warm.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
probably like warm. It's like warm blood at this point, right? Like
Warm
Yeah,
blood.
I mean, I'm a tiefling too. I can handle that. Like a little bit of hot.
Warm blood.
technically, if we're getting technical, it probably took a while to boil because the water was already hot. Supposed to be cold.
It's been a little while. This has been a process for sure.
It's been way longer than it needed to be for
Hey,
sure.
this is the morning when we came out here, so it's actually probably not that bad that we're using some time.
It's like midday. Rin, 19, and Iridir are watching this happen. Drift, they stop completely frozen. The birds that are flying through the air are completely frozen still.
Stop.
The sounds that are around you are gone. Like even the scent of the nearby town completely disappears. Everything is frozen in time around you as you take this second gulp, the second shot of the blood.
What's happening to me? Can I move?
You can move.
Hello?
A voice speaks to you from nearby. A voice that you recognize somewhat. I don't know where it is, but it's on your person somewhere. A voice says to you,
Sanguine one, you would drink the blood? But I thought you were one of the shadow. Are you not?
the little doll.
Is that my doll? Fuck.
The little doll is speaking to you.
Can I pull it out?
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah. It looks the same as it always looks. How does it look, this little doll in your hand?
Why is he here right now? It's just the most generic Blair Witch Project kind of doll ever. I mean, we're talking like black kind of braids going down like the back of its hair. It's like long hair, but it looks like a male kind of really shitty button eyes, like this crappy little doll that you would give to like a 1-year-old and they would love it and it would grow up in their life. I've had this doll since I was born.
This tiny little doll, it looks old as well. You've had it for a long time. It's tattered. Its face doesn't move in like a Pixar way or anything. It's just this thing. But you definitely sense that the voice that you hear is coming from the doll. You also know that some of your power...
I've talked to this doll before.
Yeah. This thing has saved your life before. It's the one thing...
This is the reason I'm still alive.
It seems to be the link to your strange abilities that you manifested almost out of nowhere. The doll says to you,
Will it be the blood or the shadow?
I'm sorry, the shadow. The shadow.
But how does the blood taste?
Tasted okay, but not as much as the... I'm one with the shadow.
Perhaps drink a little more of the blood before nightfall. Perhaps the blood of something else would sate your needs. And then perhaps the shadows will grow stronger. Perhaps, sanguine one, the shade and the blood can mix.
Of course, master.
Find some more blood, drink some more blood from anything but the cat.
I will.
Good luck. Goodbye. Oh, one more thing. We were very close recently. You missed me, didn't you? You didn't see me.
Wait, were you the doll?
No. That old thing? No. We were rather close when you were at the gate.
That was you.
No. The gate allows you to visit me. Perhaps we'll see each other sooner rather than later.
Yes, of course.
Anyway,
Can't wait.
off you trot then. And, don't look too shocked.
the world carries on just immediately. Just the things, the birds, them lot looking at you, everything completely.
I'm going to
continues.
throw up. I'm going to throw up just because of everything that just happened. I'm just immediately, it's still gulping down, and it's just if that's okay with you, I'm going to just out of nervousness, out of holy shit, what the hell just happened, out of the taste, out of me sort of liking it for a moment and then being like, I can't like this for the shadows.
He just throws up the blood. He, like, as far as you guys are concerned, he knocks us back and then immediately throws it up. And it's gross because it's blood, right? It looks really weird. He throws up so hard that his eyes are super bloodshot. Now, you're a tiefling, so your eyes probably look a little odd anyway. Maybe they're like, in fact, what
one's
are your
different,
eyes?
a different color.
Oh yeah, your eyes are different colors. What do they look like?
I'm pretty. One is like a totally like all red.
Full red.
One is like full red, and then the other's like a normal like light like blue kind of like just like a normal kind of like color.
Round his eyes is black, like a loop. Like he throws up so hard he gets like, you know, like when you haven't slept well and you get those bags under your eyes. He gets that kind of look around his eyes, that almost sickly look around his eyes, and his blue eye is super bloodshot from retching so hard.
I didn't really expect you to do that. That was
Well, maybe
But you
it's
said it would give me strength. What the hell?
It was
I think that I think 19 played a little bit of a joke on you. Sorry, we had to go.
19 is leaning against the tree stump that's by us, not looking at the group, and you just see like a.
You played a joke on me? Oh, that was gross. Oh, have you ever done that? Have you ever tried the blood of a cat?
No, I would never drink the blood straight from an animal.
You said you did, Eero.
I know, it's part of the joke.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry. When I was at the farm, I watched John do that to his son.
Did his son have the same reaction I just did?
Oh, you just drank it and then you puked. What do you mean had the same reaction?
Did John's son puke?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's not that I'm not strong because I can't handle the
That's
blood.
all that happened was he drank it. We all watched. He puked, just like you just did, nothing else. Why?
I was just making sure I did everything to the best of my ability.
Well, if we're being honest with each other, and he looks at the group, there is probably something to be said about him. Anyone who will drink the blood of something they've killed, and he, being completely sincere, I honor it, honestly. And he like puts his hand to his chest. He just kind of like nods at Drift.
I instantly put my hand across my chest, how he did, and I nod to him.
Rin's gonna look at Eero again.
Well, shall we be on our way?
Please.
It's a good idea.
I want to grab the thing with the skin and all the meat in it, and I want to throw it over my back like a...
Unless there's a
Hobo.
squirrel you'd like to drink along the way.
As they're laughing, I realize that I've had my the actual doll that I pulled out during that moment. It's been out the entire time, but in a like crumpled up in my hand, in my right hand, and I realize it's out. And I quickly look at it and like just hide it in my bag. Like when
you hear it laugh at you. When you look at the others, their eyes all look really bloodshot.
Really?
Yeah. For the other three, your eyes are not bloodshot at all. Just from Drift's perspective, their eyes are super bloodshot. It looks fucking crazy.
Even mine? My little
your amber glow looks red to Drift right now.
Okay.
Well, I think that it'd be good if we head towards... We're very close, and to be honest with all of you, we are not in no manner going to be able to eat all this meat. Well, I won't need any of it, so it will be just up to you three of you to eat it, so we can share it with people back in Drift.
That's a good idea. Any
Right.
survivors, if there are any.
Right.
We should probably get going.
Let's go.
Sure.
Yes.
So you guys are just heading towards the obvious smoke. I think it takes you guys maybe 15 minutes before you clear the underbrush of this kind of wooded area, and this devastated area where Drip was. Why did you name him Drift? I already had the map made. Dude.
That's what you Drift before
The map was already made.
The map was already made. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you breach the woods and you see this kind of village that you had briefly seen before. I don't know if you guys had been there before. If anyone said that they had been to Drip before, but it was a very small little farming town. And as you guys clear the forested area, you come out on what is essentially a farm. You see a very obvious farmland spread out in front of you. There's just scorched earth that runs even across the area where the farm was. There's a huge plume of smoke that's rising up at the other side of this farm with all these burnt crops out in front of you. There's a single house that looks like it was at the center of this farm, which is burnt. Nothing more than just busted wood, blackened and scorched. There's this huge plume of black smoke that's just filling the air. There's a slightly westerly wind which is pushing it away from you guys. Oh no, towards you guys. And you can see this burned village is just completely
What the I just had a crazy revelation because of Whack. I'm so sorry, Brad. Dude, my old character was called Clutch, and now I'm Drift.
John, every single person assumed that you did that on purpose, John.
I had no idea. It's car stuff, dude. It's car stuff.
Always named after car stuff from now on.
Oh my god.
You guys
I just realized it too, John. You're okay.
That's unreal. I didn't mean to do that.
Maybe you sort of subconsciously really like cars.
Totally.
I
hate them. I hate cars. I do want a Tesla.
The village is very clearly in front of where you guys are. You can see that basically every single building has been destroyed in one way or another. It's burned down. There's also still little sections that you can make out as you start to move across this farm that are still on fire, but it's not orange fire, it's that purple fire that you guys witnessed that destroyed it. It's still burning in very small little patches around this town. There isn't a lot of people here. There's only really one section that you can make out, which is on the southern side of town, or on the southern road that comes across the river, that has several small tents that are set up. They bear the banner of the Rose Guard military. They're small and you can make them out from across the farm. And you can see that there aren't too many people around. Assuming you guys head towards it across the farm, or are you sneaking in or anything? You can see that there are like tents, and you can see that there are a couple of people moving around there. Other than that, you're just looking at a burned town.
If 19 saw that army, he would have no problem walking straight up to it.
I'm gonna give you this kind of image here, but it's just a general look of a burned town. You just start striding across.
I would have said probably be like a, well, it seems there is some of the army up ahead.
Which army?
And what you said was Rose, the Rose, what was it?
Yeah, just the Rose Guard army. They're just known as the Rose Guard
from
army.
the capital, right?
Yeah, but you can. Okay. A lot of people call them the Rose.
Is it of those people that set
Rose army.
The town alight?
No, those are Rose Guard army. They come from not far from here. Have you ever been to Rose Guard, hero?
No.
They are the soldiers that I partially fought by. They mostly, from what I understand, are good people, but this is a burnt city. They were probably sent here from the capital. I would still say that we should be cautious because they have been known to have certain groups that disband and just wear their armor, but I would assume that since the city is burnt, that these were sent here. So I would say that we are welcome, but I will take lead if you'd like. Maybe they'll see me. They'll take Justin. Maybe they'll walk to us.
I'm okay with that. However,
with that as well.
what are we saying? That we were here and then ran away? Because I don't think that'll go over well.
Well,
It's a fair point.
less questions and less asked questions, the better. So maybe we just walk over, and if they ask us questions, I can do the talking. They'll probably trust me more than they'll trust a tiefling or an elf or a bard. No offense to any of you, but they are the army.
It's fair.
Very well. Go ahead, 19.
So you guys just start traipsing across this farmland. It's pretty damp, but it's also scorched. Like a lot of the crops here are burned as well. Like that fire moved in a huge wide arc across the ground. All of the grass
Are
is
there
burned.
bodies, Brad, or have those been cleared?
There's no bodies here that you notice, at least. There is a burned house that you pass, but it's probably more north as you're heading due south, kind of thing. That's the way I'm going. As you get a little closer, you can make out the tents. Their Rose Guard's military logo is just a rose, pretty much. It's really not too much more than a rose. And you can see that they've got that embroidered on a couple of these tents. The other tents seem to just kind of have been scavenged or found or separately. They don't appear to be the same. Once you get a little closer, you can see that there are two soldiers in plate mail, chain mail. As a kind of idea, and this isn't exactly what you see, but just to give you an idea of like what these guys look like, I have this image. This is more like upper military garb, but they kind of wear this breastplate, chainmail, and they have a red cape that they put across their shoulders. At the center of their chest, they have the embroidered rose. You don't see this guy though. He looks baller, but he's not there. But that's just an idea of like kind of how they dress, and you can see these red capes on a couple of the fighters in the area. There's two that look like upper military types with their arms planted firmly on what looks like a scavenged table at the center of these tents. There's maybe 6 tents in a circle. Beyond them, there are 2 carts, relatively large carts with horses attached to them. One of them is clearly filled with supplies, while the other is filled with several sort of soot-covered survivors. A couple of them have bandaged arms and heads. They just look like farmers and basic peasantry that would live in Drit. Even the soldiers look a little muddied and a little dirty. You're probably, if you've encountered them before, you probably would have seen them in towns and cities, and they would just be like clean, sparkling watch types. Whereas these guys look a little more dirtied. Once you get a little closer, you can see that one of the fighters has a brown and green hood on. There's cries of what sounds like wounded coming from nearby, and as you get a little closer, you can see that they've set the tents up out of the way of the town. You're kind of out in an open area. The ground is still scorched, but there is a stone building which you can hear some cries coming from. It sounds like there's maybe more wounded in there. Approaching you, however, is a young looking soldier. She doesn't look much older than Drift. She's human. She has really short cropped, sort of wavy red hair. A relatively stern look on her face. She's got like a lot of grime and dirt on her. She's wearing the Rose Guard Rangers military uniform, which is red leathers and then a green hood around her shoulders. Whereas all these other guys have chainmail and red capes. But she does have that proud rose embroidered on the center. And before you guys can get close to the tents, you see her speak to one of the guys in the center. They all look up and see you guys just walking across. At first, they kind of put their hands on swords, and then they kind of give you a once over, and you just look like random travelers. You don't look like the military type. And so one of these like commanders waves her over, and she starts to head towards you guys. Before you guys actually get to these tents and stuff, she approaches and just says, yes, halt, excuse me. What is your business here?
I put my hand back to the group. We are traveling back towards Rose Garden, but it seems as though you are here. Are you a commanding officer?
No, I'm Ranger McKinnon. Do you live here in Drid?
To meet you, Ranger McKinnon. He like kind of bows like in a real quick, Brad. Would I assume that like he would kind of know like kind of like the movements and like the bows of like Rose Garden army type people, Brad?
If you did, you learned it after you sort of awakened and were kindled. Okay. It depends how much time you spent around army types in those opening moments, but you would definitely have woken up like probably in a barracks in Roseguard or something, and been surrounded by people who were like, oh my god, he just woke up, wow, and then they probably deal with you just like very cautiously but vaguely explain.
He just kind of puts his hand to his chest and just kind of he takes the big old thing with the skin and the meat in it, and he plops it down in front of her. Yes, well, we were making our way around the city when we saw the fire. We decided not to get involved. And we realized when things calmed down, we decided that we'd bring some of this, well, we skinned a very large cat, and we have a lot of meat, and we know there's stragglers here. We brought it here to help. And I assume that you are also here to help?
Yes. Hunters. So you're not from this town?
I look back at the rest of the group. No.
She kind of looks each of you over and kind of eyes you up. You guys look a little bad, but I'd say you probably fit the hunter type, probably. You have a couple of weapons on you, but relatively, like, cut up, sort of dirty traveler's clothes, right? And then you have this huge warforged with you. She says, okay, well, if you want to make your way over here, we have some of the survivors. There was a terrible attack on the village last night, and, well, the entire thing was destroyed. I can show you over to where the survivors are heading towards Green Hill, and you might be able to travel with them. And then she turns, she says that more to the other three, but she turns to you, 19, and says, do you remember your time when you served?
Very little. It's sparse. It comes and goes. I have sometimes I remember, and sometimes I don't. Why do you ask?
She says, well, we could have used somebody of your stature, is all. The captain will likely want to speak to you. Still.
That would be good. I would very much so like to speak with the captain. In fact, could I ask for all of us to have an audience with the captain, please, after we speak with the engine and give them this note?
She says, yes, very well. And she turns around. She seems pretty green. She kind of tries to act tough and strong. She sets her shoulders and starts to stride back towards the center. But I think you guys can probably tell she looks a little like, I guess, shell-shocked, a little shaken. Because this site that you approach is just crazy. There's you probably would never have seen anything like this, I don't think. If you had your memories, maybe you would, 19, but this is destruction on a whole other scale. This is an entire village that was hit by essentially like a nuke. You're kind of
ground zero.
A ground zero for this destruction. There is no one here. It's weird. This town, although small, probably would have been bustling at midday like this. The buildings, for the most part, again, are all charred and black. The ground is charred and black. As you get a little closer, that smell of just burned wood and then something else underneath it, that thick, fleshy smell, pretty strong and would definitely kind of definitely hit you in a strange way. Maybe not you, 19. I don't know how this affects you, but it would be definitely weird for the rest of you to see this. Drift, this is probably PTSD, borderline PTSD.
Totally. Totally. That's what I was thinking.
The stone building nearby, there's just a screech, and you hear a scuffle of some people as you guys pass by. There's a few voices from inside, kind of, hold him down, let me try something. And then you hear a couple of people moving and rushing around, some stamps of boots. At the center of the tents, the two gentlemen who look like they might be in charge look up as Ranger McKinnon approaches, and she says, Captain, and she stands firm, these are hunters. They're not from the town, but they were passing through. They have war forged with them. They requested an audience, and he says, yes, very well. Send them over. She turns to you and nods to each of you and says, well, if you wouldn't mind, and pushes you towards kind of, or motions you towards the commander in charge here. For the record, there's just her, two guys who are in mail, and then two other guys that are by the carts that are in mail. It looks like there's only like 5 of them here, maybe some more in that stone house.
So it was McKinnon plus these other people?
You've got, yeah,
okay.
five military types that you can see here. They look kind of dirty. They look like they've been traveling for a while. And then they also have, almost all of them have like lots of soot and dirt on them that looks like it's probably from the town. The captain stands up from the table. You can see that they have a map on the table that's the surrounding area, very obviously, very similar to the map that we have of Drit and the surrounding area. It looks like it's old and worn and torn, but he stands up and moves towards you, and you see him more address you, 19. He says, my name is Captain Gregor in Stone Sworn. I am the platoon commander. Do you remember your time when you served? We could use a strapping warforged.
I remember little, but I also... And he takes the big hunk of meat and stuff again. He looks at Drift before he does it, and he goes, Drift, and he kind of nods to him.
Yeah. I get out the meat too.
We saw the smoke, and we figured there would be survivors. We got in a scuffle with some kind of tiger. We took it out. There's no way that, well, I don't need any of it, but we brought this meat for you, your men, and the people that work or are living here right now trying to find and meat. I'm not trying to dodge your question. I just am trying to get to the point with that. And he tosses the hunk of all the meat down, but he says, well, we do want the skin, though. We plan to take that with us. Could you, and just like, even though knowing, could you tell me what was your name one more time?
He looks at the meat and says, understandable. I appreciate your help. And he looks up at you. He's kind of tall. He's like 5'9". And he's like looking up. He has a pretty large scar that runs down his jawline. He's got dark skin. He's got piercings on his ears and his eyebrow and his lips, which is kind of odd for a military type, but fuck it. Let's do some rolls. Give me some history checks. See if you can figure out where he's from.
Like that.
I'm not gonna roll because I wouldn't know.
Okay. 10. 20.
Let's go. Is he from my village? Kilush?
And Rin. No, he is not from Kilush. He is from, and I'll give you the world map again. He is from offshore. He's from the very, 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 very far south. There's a sort of desert-based island, which isn't really part of the Kingdom of the Rose and Thelmecia. It's Velgaro. There's two little villages here, Iguta and Quain. Quain is very like native, just like they keep to themselves, but Iguta is like a famous like pirate.
It's across the water from me. That's why I know.
Yeah, it's pretty close to where you're from, in Kilush. But it's kind of like a, like Nassau kind of place, from what's that famous pirate book with the treasure? Yep, Treasure Island.
Not a clue.
Treasure Island?
Maybe.
Nassau's a place.
Oh, it is. Yeah, but in the sense of it being part of the pirate. It's a pirate town. Yeah. It's a pirate town. There you go. It's like a Caribbean pirate town. Yeah. He is from there. Drift and Rin, you're very aware of that. 19, you don't know that, but doesn't seem like he's from around these parts, I guess. Most military types don't have piercings and tattoos and stuff like that unless it's something from like a native thing from wherever they're from. He looks pretty stern, but he also has that sort of like edge to his face where he looks like he's a little shaken. He says, Captain Gregor and Stonesworn, I appreciate your help. Perhaps you could take the meat over to our supplies. He points towards the two carts. There are two of his men standing by the carts. One of them looks like he's like loading supplies onto the supply cart. The other one looks like he's getting ready to move out. He says, I'm sending 4 of my best fighters with them. You're welcome to join them. They're heading to Green Hill. They're the survivors of this attack. The others are in there. They're wounded far too badly for travel.
You said Green Hill.
Yes.
What is it that you were sent here for? To help, I assume. Could you, if I could, and if you cannot tell me, I understand. What were you sent here for?
He says, he turns back and just starts heading back towards the table. There's another guy there. He's a big-looking dude. The other guy, he's wearing the exact same uniform, but he has a bald head, very pale skin, and a thick black beard. He looks like a rough type. Like probably take him out of the armor, and he'd look like Zangief, kinda. He looks like a big dude. He doesn't say anything. He crosses his arms as you approach, stands straight. But
Can we see the chest hair, like?
Yeah, probably pushing out of through the chainmail. The captain
a rustling noise every time he moves.
The captain moves to the table and turns the map around and points at it, and it's marked in all sorts of places. There's crosses and dots and circles and various notes and things that suggest that they've been tracking something. He says, my platoon consists of 25 men, 6 rangers, 4 scouts, 10 fighters, 3 clerics, and he looks over towards the stone building, and 2 pages. He points at the map, and sort of there's a through line that runs from Rosegard to Green Hill and then up to the woods above where Drit is. He says, we were sent on the King's orders to investigate a roaming pack of orcs. This band are believed to be part of a larger movement, a troubling horde known as the Blood Nectar. He points at a couple of areas where there are like big crosses. He says, they've been raiding along the road. Raiding for weapons, which isn't like them. They've hit a couple of the towns, including this one. My men and I were a few hours outside of Drit, in the woods, and he points to the northern woods, the Witten Woods. When the attack happened, we heard and witnessed it from these woods, and we arrived to find the town ablaze. No sign of a force that attacked. We assumed that they couldn't have gotten far. My best rangers couldn't find no sign of their movements, and well, they're still out there now, looking by day. He turns to you and says, did you witness anything last night?
Oh. I look back at the rest of the group, and before I actually say anything, I just kind of like look back and like my eyes go small and big to them. And, well, I think the best way to put this to you is, can you sit down for a moment?
There's no chairs. He kind of cocks his head and he says, I assure you, I can handle whatever it is you have to say. We've been burying the dead all morning.
Yes, what's Rin?
She's gonna shrink back.
What we saw from a distance was a purple blaze that took most of the city.
May I assist in your explanation?
In fact, I think that you would be able to do a better job at that. This is, and I'm sorry, I am 19, and this is Rin Drift.
And I extend my hand towards Ranger McKinnon.
Hero, dear.
Ranger McKinnon.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
She holds up her hand. She's wearing gloves, but they're covered in like soot and grime. And she says, "I would shake your hand, but I fear it would. Well, you wouldn't want that. Very nice to meet you all." And then she kind of like forgets herself and stands and moves back a little bit. She steps kind of towards the table behind Captain Stonesworn. He says. He points after you mention the fire. He doesn't seem to give a fuck about your names and whatever McKinnon's doing. He just points as soon as you mention the fire, and a few of these houses, like I said, still have the fire going on, the purple fire that was on them. He says, "Yes, the purple blaze. We saw it too. It's still burning. Nothing puts it out. We've tried water, dirt, air." Remains.
Well, we were there when it all sort of happened.
I'm going to use minor illusion to recreate a smaller image, I guess, of what I saw when it happened.
Can I study their faces when he does this? I want to see how they react. I'm seeing to see if they're surprised or if they're lying or deceiving us, really.
I was actually in the same boat as PB on that. I'd like to do the same thing.
I'm just enjoying the show.
You can give me insight checks if you want to just kind of keep an eye on what's going on.
Yeah,
sure.
and I sort of, I'll actually take out my lute as well and start to play like some like ominous music.
You see, we were entering the town on a cart with a fellow by the name of Stout Boots, a hero in his own right. He explained to us stories of his past along the way. We were terribly enthralled as we made our way to the town. Unfortunately, we ran into a few problems along the way. Some kobolds that were trying to rob us.
And I'm just kind of, I'm retelling the story of everything that happened. I'm trying to like play the lute and like walk around Ranger McKinnon as I'm doing it.
Sort of a performance?
Yeah, I'm doing a performance. I'm like leaning in, you know, like really hamming it up with some ominous and appropriate music to like emphasize the things.
Yeah, I think give me a performance check first. I think the two larger guys here they don't seem to be too perturbed by your portrayal, but they're very interested in like what you are telling them. McKinnon looks a little more distracted.
Okay.
Depending on the performance check. It's awesome.
Oh my!
It's awesome.
That's a natural 20.
Natural 20, a 26 overall. 20. It's awesome. The Ranger McKinnon is distracted not because it's so bad, but she just you see a kind of an eye flicker over towards Iridir, watching him play his lute. She seems a little interested in like.
I'm trying to do the thing where I'm being aloof, but like I'm constantly staying in her vision.
Well, it's fucking working.
She looks begrudgingly interested as you stand amid this pure carnage, death, chaos, and still somehow manage to put on an epic performance.
And I do this like crescendo with like I intensify the music like as we're getting closer to the town, and I say,
and that's when everything went wrong. And I like dun, 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 dun,
and I show this flash of light from the fire.
Yeah, they're super interested in it, and there's a like at the end, Ranger McKinnon kind of puts her hands together and and just stops herself and steps back. The two men kind of look and like Captain Stonesworn has his hand on his chin by the end. He's interested as he's taking in all of the information.
Yeah, and then like I start to explain like what happened afterwards, and I try to put myself in like a really positive light where everyone was kind of fighting and I'm fending off all of these bandits and things. It's one of those situations where it's like an Errol Flynn kind of performance, basically, where it's me versus like 8 of these bandits.
Yeah. Do you explain that you just a random gate appeared and you were dragged through the...
No, I don't say anything about it.
Okay, so he for the record, insight checks of 16 from Rin and 19 and 8 from 19, good god. The rangers and the fighters, they seem pretty interested. They seem like they're following what's going on. 19, you're a lot less sure of what all these facial expressions mean on these men as they follow Iridir's story. Rin, you're relatively sure that these guys are playing it straight. They seem to be interested in what you have to say. They genuinely seem to they seem to be sort of telling the truth, and yeah, like they don't seem to be lying to you or trying to lure you into anything in any real way. They're just explaining what's going on, and the fact that you guys were there piques their interest a lot more. They say as you kind of get to the crescendo, the captain says, yes, it's what we managed to gather. It seems that the attack happened during the changing of the guard shifts. They planned it, for sure. The majority of the watch and the guard's men were on the western side of town. He points again at the map. He says, there's a guard's barracks there, or there was. And then this purple fire struck the building first, and then swelled and grew as it pushed through the town from west to east. So you were able to fend off some of these men?
Oh, yes. We did quite an amazing job. You see, everyone was very skilled. Unfortunately, I got a bit isolated, and I was forced to hold my own against so many of them. It was a difficult situation, but as you can see, we were able to escape with our lives intact. I lost track of how many I was fending off, but it was quite a few.
Give me a deception check.
Okay.
All right, he wants.
I try to
Roll
deceive
good,
this
even though
person
you
with
probably
power.
will.
17.
Makes it, breaks it.
Wow.
The actually, does it break it? What is he? What is it? Is that charisma? It is, right?
Yep.
Sucks to be you. Had to beat a 19.
No, what?
I didn't add his +2. The
Crap.
he kind of
not a
like he's like, yes, well, a wonderful performance for sure. And he kind of looks around each of you, and he's like not bothered that you're making yourself out to be too like this big hero or whatever. He's just like, yes, well, yeah, the mercenaries, they're bandits now, I suppose. They're a group known as the Company of Masks. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they were the ones that...
I shrivel up a little bit.
He says they led an attack 5 years ago on the southern town of Killush, and then 2 years ago on Rock, and it seems they've moved their way here. Yes.
I kind of lean into the commander, like kind of in like a whisper. Our friend Drift here, very sensitive to that conversation. I know you're a general, but he's a very young man, well, tiefling. You should ask him about that, but be cautious. Kind of like, just kind of giving him like a forewarning to like Drift, like this is like a fucking, he's super sensitive to that shit.
Yeah, he kind of gives you a strange look. He says, I'm not a general, I'm a captain. And then he looks over at He looks over at Drift. This guy doesn't look too old, by the way. He probably only looks like he's maybe in his mid to late 30s. He really doesn't look too old. He just looks kind of stern, I guess. A little battle worn. He looks and says, "You have some knowledge on these men, the Company of Masks?"
Yeah, I was part of the Killish village. They destroyed the entire thing. Barely made it out alive.
I was told there were no survivors.
I'm one of them. You were told incorrectly.
Give me a persuasion check, because he kind of looks a little confused.
He doesn't believe me at all.
He just looks confused as you say it. 14. He says, "Oh, well, where did you go? Why did you not inform the king's men, the army?"
I was, I don't remember a lot from that day.
How old were you?
I was 14. I was just a kid.
Yeah, I understand. He immediately turns away. He says, "Well,"
knows that I'm a kid.
doesn't care.
Yeah.
He has more pressing matters. He says, "Well, their leader is an old war hero, a commander, a general." He looks up at you, 19. "Commander Lance Agni, by all accounts, a decorated and revered loyalist. Why he would do this, I don't understand. Why he would attack these towns and callously burn all these innocent families.
What did you say his name was again?
Commander Lance Agni, quite famous. You can give me a history check if you want to know who this is.
I would like to see if 19 would have any clue who this person is.
Yeah, you can all do it if you want. Just out
What,
of your-
I know who this is for sure, right, Brad?
You can have advantage.
Ooh, thank you.
History, you said, right, Brad?
I don't know how much, history. How much
Well, I feel like my
research
sense
you did after that. Like, that's the thing. You were off the grid,
I'm
right?
just looking for the Company of Masks.
Yeah.
You're right. And I know.
I don't know if you've done any, I'm going to go to a library or ask some people or whatever. But you can have advantage for sure.
All right, cool. Let's see.
I rolled a 7, by the way. My rolls are shit today.
7 for 19, 14 for Rin.
Here we go. There it is. Good.
22. Yeah, you 100% know who this is. So
Didn't even roll that advantage.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't. You can if you want to try and crit just for the sake of it. Up to you.
Good.
Yeah, this guy is a war hero. He was a prominent and young commander back in the day during the war, towards the end of the war. He rose through the ranks. Was the leader of a specialist unit known as the Raven Blades. Rin, you know this knowledge, by the way. 19, you don't really recognize any of this stuff. And Drift, you know this like the back of your hand. Like, you've spoken to plenty of people and gathered all of this information, maybe, however you want. Rin, you would know this through hearsay, just because this guy's kind of super famous, a little bit. Just because he was so good at what he did. There were so many areas of the war that this guy's influence won. He was a revered, legit war hero that did a lot for the Rose Guard army and really helped to turn the tides in various places across Thelmecia at the end of this 100-year war that happened. And yeah, it seems weird. I guess it's like this is like a hero. It doesn't make sense that this guy would do this, but also you're very aware in general that the Company of Masks is this mercenary group that they just turned. They just turned after the war. They were at first just a group that were mercenaries that were taking money to deal with goblins and orcs and things, pestering towns and things, and then they turned randomly and attacked Killish, disappeared. 3 years later, attacked Rock, disappeared. 2 years later, attacked Drip last night. So The commander, while he's mentioning this, you see the other guy as well, the big kind of gruff-looking fella who looks a little older, the Zangief type. He shakes his head, and then the commander says, "Yes, we really can find no signs of them, but my rangers are out right now with the scouts and several of my fighters. Like I said, if you'd like to travel with the survivors over there, you're free to. 2 of my men will be taking those carts along with 2 more fighters when they return shortly.
Where are they heading?
Green Hill."
Would you give me and my companions a moment so we could speak about this? Also, where did you say the wounded were?
He points to the cart where there are like survivors, like all of them look hurt in some way. He says, "The ones that can travel are there. There are several in that stone building." And he points to that smaller, squat stone building. He says, "It's a supply hut, but we've had to repurpose it for the clerics."
Are there clerics there as well?
3 clerics inside.
I look at the rest of the 3. We should disperse for a minute. I'm going to go to where the clerics are, and I'm going to see if I can cause a help at all. And then I think maybe we should reunite in about an hour, and maybe we should consider traveling with these men to Green Hill.
Rin's just gonna nod and then back out and head towards the supply place that has the wounded people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Hero, your face. What was it trying to tell me?
I'm sort of like, I'm sort of half interested in the conversation. I'm probably sort of trying to say, like, under my breath, to Ranger McKinnon. So, how long have you been part of the army?
As he's talking, I'm gonna follow Rin actually to look at the people who are hurt and the supplies. I'm just gonna say yes.
Okay, so Rin, 19, and Drift head away, but you stay back, Iridir. Ranger McKinnon just kind of looks up and says, "Oh, well, I've been a ranger only for a couple of years. I was a page. I was going to squire at first under a knight, but then I found really a kinship with nature, so I thought," and like immediately the captain says, "Ranger McKinnon." She stands to attention. "I'll need you to go and check on the supplies immediately." She says, "Yes, Captain, of course." And she turns and heads over towards the cart with the supplies. He says, he turns to you, Iridir, and says, "If you don't mind, we have work to do. Again, like I said, you may travel with the carts, but my rangers, we are sparse. I am rather fearful that they will return, the company of masks. Of course, there are also those orcs nearby. My men are spread thin."
Of course, I understand. You're in a difficult position, to say the least. If there's anything we could do to help, perhaps we might be able.
He says, "You are hunters, yes?"
On occasion, we are what we need to be.
He looks you up and down and says, "Any good at tracking?"
Well, not particularly. I have other skills.
Other skills?
Well, yes. I mainly focus on keeping the, well, I make sure that I keep everyone level-headed and, to keep them, well, in good spirits. I'm a morale officer of sorts.
Not much morale around here. I don't think you'll be able to bolster much.
Oh, I beg to differ, sir. Didn't you see my performance earlier?
A wonderful performance, but really not quite the time for jovial songs and stories.
I beg to differ. If you look at your people,
you can see a look on their face that, well, clearly describes how dire the situation is. And I have found that trying to maintain a work atmosphere in a situation that is, well, let's be honest, quite horrifying can be very difficult. But if you have someone that's able to help, then I think that you will be able to, well, keep everyone in good spirits, and they'll be able to perform their duties a lot better.
This roll right here.
Well, give me a persuasion roll. I kind of need a charisma check, really. Just give me a charisma. You're not persuading him of anything, unless you're persuading him to. No.
Okay, just a straight charisma.
Yeah, I just want to see how you.
That's a natural one.
A natural 1. He rolls another 19.
He smells bullshit.
And he probably turns on you and probably looks a little angry now. His stone face turns. There's a flash across it. Again, he's not huge or anything, but he's a kind of scary looking dude, especially once that like flash of anger appears across his face. And he swoops an arm across the chaos behind you and says, "Do you know there were over 400 people in this village? There's less than 20 alive. You can prance around with your loot and tell your stories all you want later. For now, we've got good work to do. If you don't mind." He turns his back on you and puts his hands on the table again and points and says, "Well, the rangers have been too long." And he looks at the other guy. "Perhaps we should send McKinnon to try and find them."
Yeah, I think after he's kind of dismissed me, I say, "Well, I'll leave you to it. Some of my other associates seem to be, rather intrigued by the possibility of visiting another place. If you'll excuse me."
Like, he has his back to you and he just... You step away. The others are heading towards that stone building. I'm a little late for it, but I think that's a good time to go to a break.
Yeah!
We can let Captain Stonesworn cool down a little after Iridir's epic fumble. We're going to go to a short break here, and then we'll return for the second part of Tablestory's Darkfire. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Stretch out.
Go and take a little stretch. Check out our Discord channel. Please check out our Patreon if you want to see some cool D&D type stuff. I don't know what's on there this month.
Sunday, we have a new show premiering.
We do?
Spark of Eternity.
That's this week.
That is this week, Brad.
Sell it, Wack.
Yes.
I'm very befuddled today. I'm sorry.
We're starting a new show on Sunday called Spark of Eternity. I will be DMing, and we've got Classy Katie, McQuanis, OMG Vandy, Peachy Pixelate, and Zacodicus on there. It's going to be super fucking cool. And
what time
I hope
is it?
You guys are ready. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
Sparkly Turnip.
7 p.m. on British time on Sunday.
2 Eastern time, Sparkly Turnip, D&D 5e, brand new show, episode 1, Sunday. Check it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you after this break. Bye. I mean, in a bit.
In a moment.
Everyone, welcome back to the village of Drit. A burned village, a stench in the air. There's smoke, still even little patches of purple fire burning, and an angry captain hushedly discussing something with someone else, the other guy. You three head towards... You're heading towards that sort of squat stone building, yeah, with the cries are coming from?
The cries, yeah, to see if we can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Iridir probably will just say a few seconds later trots over.
Yeah, I roll up like very casual. No, I don't look upset or anything. I just kind of walk up.
Sure.
The instant I walk in, I would like to actually just beeline it for a wounded individual and like kneel down and start helping.
Yeah, you push through. There's no door. There's the door you can see was clearly broken off of the hinges at some point last night, and lies a little ways away on the outside. But they've placed one of the capes that they wear, the red capes, over the doorway. So if you're the first one there, Rin, you push it open and you see 4 beds. They're really just hay strewn across the ground, as thick as they could make it. It's dirty and it's thin. There's not very much of it. All of the supplies that were in here are broken. There's a few broken kegs, a few broken boxes. There's a lot of sacks of like wheat and things which have been torn open, and that's kind of spilled out as well. It looks like this was like raided and trashed at some point, but it doesn't look like it was affected by the fire necessarily. It looks like somebody busted in the door and trashed it. Then they pushed these army guys have pushed this stuff away. Inside there are 4 people laying on this kind of in this supply shed. It's not very large. It's maybe only 20 feet across, and they look bad. All of them appear to have excessive burns. One of them, you can see, has recently had his leg amputated, and then you've got 3 military-looking guys, plate mail, gruff-looking faces. A couple of them have deity, holy symbols on them. One of them doesn't, but it's the same one that doesn't have his cape, so you assume that one's cape is over the door. As soon as you walk in and beeline towards one of these people, the capeless cleric turns and immediately says, excuse me.
I'm a Darun monk. I'm here to help. What can I do?
A Darun monk? What do you mean you're here to help? The captain send you?
Well, yes, he said that there were wounded in here. Well, he said that there were wounded that could travel on the cart, but he said that there were some critically wounded people here.
Yes, there are some critically wounded. We have all the help we need. If you don't mind, we're very busy. There's a cry from behind him, the one whose leg is missing. You see one of the other clerics rush over. They're all looking at you, the clerics. The guys on the ground aren't. He runs and grabs the leg. You see him cast some sort of spell. They look pretty knackered, these clerics. But the one in front of you says, we don't need any help. We've got this in hand.
Oh, it looks like you do.
You do.
Sorry?
Are you stepping in as well, 19?
I am. Along with her.
Again, it's pretty small in here. It's like relatively cramped, and you're like in this doorway. He sees you walking. Warforged. Excuse me, you must understand. We've been here all night. These are the only
exactly.
4 left.
Let us help, please.
Yes.
It's really.
In fact, you don't have a choice. We are going to help you. It is what's right.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if you really want to help, you wouldn't mind fetching us some water. That's really what we need. The pages.
Are you hungry?
Oh, no. We're not hungry. He turns to the other two. The other two look at it. No. And they look on the ground. These guys on the ground, they just look very thin. All 4 are men. All of them have like significant burn wounds. You can see that the clerics have done a lot with their like healing spells to push the healing along, but it's still healed into a kind of scar tissue. It's not healing them and they're just magically better. They've still got all these wounds, and they turn to you and say, no, the wounds are healing and our magics are doing some, but it's very far. It really is quite difficult to bring them back from the brink of death. And that's why we only have these 4 left. We need water for them. Any fresh clothing, anything you have on you spare would really help, but unless you have more powerful magics than we, then I really don't see how you can help us further.
Well, I'd like to try.
He kind of looks you over. Give me a persuasion check. You can have advantage because 19 is helping you.
May I use deception instead?
What do you? Yes.
Yes.
In the sense that you're deceiving him that you can actually help with a more powerful magical spell.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God.
22 beats his. 9. He's knackered. He says, "Oh, well, of course, I suppose." He turns and says, "Fuse hair, step out of the way." He points to the one whose leg is missing. He says, "This one really doesn't have much left in him. If there's anything you can do to help, he really needs it the most."
Okay. I'd like to go over and I would like to try to, using my medicinal knowledge, I would actually like to try to help this man. Either relieve his pain or see if I can prevent him from dying.
Okay.
She snaps his neck to relieve his
medicine check. I'm so terrified she's going to do that.
I know.
You were gone anyways.
No, she's a chiropractor.
Oh!
God.
It's going to be real tough to help this guy without like extreme magics. Like the cleric seems to have known kind of what he was talking about. They've done a lot to staunch the wound, to cure it with magic, and to make this guy help this guy survive. Mechanically, these guys are basically on death saves, right? That's essentially what's happening. They're like stabilizing them, healing them, and then these guys fall back into death saves, and it just seems to be this continual thing. In terms of what you can do physically, there really isn't much. They've stopped the bleeding of his legs. They caused it. They had to amputate the leg. And when you get a little closer, you can see this guy actually has some small knife wounds as well along one side, as if he's been stabbed or caught with a blade. Slashes, not stabs, kind of thing. And
Is there blood pouring out of it, Brad?
No, for the most part, his wounds are kind of healed, but they're all like bad and sore and irritated. He also has some burns. His face isn't burned, but a lot of his body is, and his arms. And he's missing a leg. So this guy is just, He's in the thick of it. There really isn't
Yeah.
anything much more that you can do to physically help with a medicine check, because it's things like poultices and you know, like bandages and stitching and stuff, and that's already kind of been done.
Okay. Am I able to give him some either ointment or anything from my kit that can take his pain away?
Let's have a look at your kit. What kit
Yeah.
are we looking at?
While that's going on,
The herbalism, maybe?
I want to kind of like lean into Drift and say, perhaps we can be of more use if we assist them with some water. Maybe we can look for some water. They said
That's
that
a great idea, Eero.
Yeah.
I don't think we could do much here.
Okay.
And
let's
I'm
go.
a bit spent. I don't really think I can help magically.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You guys are outside.
Yeah.
We're gonna head out.
Are you speaking quietly?
Yeah, I just kind of like, I guess I'm not trying to be like super quiet. I lean into him and you know, just kind of say it.
Okay. And you guys are heading towards the river. You know where that is. You're like,
Yeah.
it's not far, and you can.
I probably would have I probably would have seen, like, if I saw somebody walking around, I would have let them know, like, the captain and the clerics that you have there. I would have just pulled like anybody. Said that you're in need of water. We'll try and get some for you.
Yeah, I'd say maybe you grab one of the fighters. He's maybe hefting something from one of the carts over, and he says, "Okay, all right," and then just walks off. He's like into his work. He's doing something else. This random person comes up. You guys can work out where you are. This village isn't like huge. You can actually work out that you are, if you're on the southwest side. You guys came in on the eastern side, but you can still pretty easily work out where you guys were when that cart was flipped, when you came into town, and then follow the road along. You know that you come to a river because you cross a small bridge, and that's where the river is. So you guys start heading over towards that. Inside the little stone building. I want to say tent as well because it's such a Hollywood cliche, but it's not. The healing supply shed. Give me a herbalism kit check to see if you can make any sort of poultice that's going to help this guy. Some sort of thing. I should have watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy with Emma before this episode. Rin.
That would have been great.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing you want to use to reference medical stuff.
This is Rin making it?
Yeah. Are you there, PB? I can't tell if she's disconnected.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just. We have a. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Do you want me to
Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need to just roll me a d20 plus 2.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't do the +2, but it doesn't matter.
That's an epic
Natural one.
That's a nat 1.
fail. You start grabbing some things out. You look at this guy. He's got a fever coming in. So maybe you're like, okay, I've got a thing that will, like a paste that can cool him down. If I put this with this, that'll help him out. And you just make a paste out of various leaves and a couple of herbs that you've got. And then put it on his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. We all know, as the audience, that all you did was just put some paste on this dude's forehead, and it does absolutely nothing. He's just ever so slightly more uncomfortable than he was before.
Okay.
It was legit made out of. And this is to use a current situation inside joke. It's totally poison ivy that she's making the paste.
Oh my god.
No, it's not that
I love
bad.
you so much, Wack.
It's not that bad. Yeah, a herbalism kit probably doesn't hold that many poisons. Yeah, I mean, 19 leans in, just a bunch of.
What does that do?
Okay. Hopefully it should just relieve some of his pain. I'm gonna take it. Can I take his hand? I'm gonna talk to him.
Yeah, he is like out of it. He's awake, and every now and then you can see he's not really conscious, but he's awake, and he just every now and then just a flash of pain. His body tenses and he recoils and shifts and just
I'll hold his
Take
hand.
His hand.
You're gonna be okay. Hang in there. You're gonna be okay. She's gonna, you know, like put her hand on his head. She's being very compassionate, and you guys have never seen her like this before.
Yeah, 19 looks fucking freaked out. Even though you can't see facial reactions, he's just kind of like, he's just staring at Rin the entire time as she's doing all this.
And I'm still scared shitless of her because I'm not seeing this.
Yeah. The give me just a flat charisma check as well. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Holy shit! How do I do that? Oh, here we go.
Click on the word charisma
Save?
on the left. No, just a normal charisma check.
Oh, I see. Oh my god.
That's another natural one. 2 in a
Another
row.
Natural
And
one.
if I could get the ones like sevens like you get ones, or I'd have that lucky bonus here pretty
I
soon.
know.
Oh my
You
god.
grab his hand and whisper these things like you're gonna be okay and stuff, and he
You just
He's in
yell
way
and
too much
you
pain.
hear,
he,
"You'll be okay.
he
Oh no.
Don't worry."
it is just awkward. You're saying these things like, yeah, you'll
deaf
get
dog.
better. You'll feel much better, and it's almost awkward. Like maybe halfway through, you realize that the paste you've put on his head isn't going to do anything. You fucked up an ingredient you don't have or something, and yeah, the guy doesn't respond nicely. He just he whips his hand away from you. You see a tear roll down one side of his cheek, and he kind of shuffles away.
Can I have a reaction when that happens, Brad?
Yeah, the other cleric also has a reaction as he kind of shuffles over and says, if you don't mind, I think I need to tend to him myself. And he starts to kind of like shuffle you away.
Okay, I'll let him.
When
What do
he
you
does that, I put both my hands on Rin's shoulders, like in a soft manner. I think that, as much as I hate to say this, I think some of these people are, and I kind of whisper it softly, a little too far gone. I think we should leave them to do what they're trying to do. But you, where did that come from?
That's where I'm from. I'm from the Darun Hermitage. Are you familiar with it?
Not quite.
We help broken and disfigured soldiers.
Well, I've just never seen you act that way before. Very compassionate. Very off guard. We head outside and let them do what they must, and maybe see if the other two have found any water.
I think that's a good idea.
You say that inside? He's still in the thing?
Mhm.
Do you say that within earshot of this cleric?
I'm whispering all this shit to her.
All right, give me
Why, what's
give
that?
me a stealth check then.
Okay. I'm not worried about what it could potentially be,
Yeah, yeah.
but 20.
You're whispering this stuff, but the cleric is like right next to you, I guess, because he hears you, and he says, "Oh, if you wouldn't mind getting some water from the river, we sent 2 page boys. We got 2 page boys with us, and he went to get the water, but it was a rather long time ago, and he told them to get a move on."
How long ago did you tell these people? And I'd also like to do an insight check.
Yeah. Are they deceiving us?
Yeah, give me an insight check each.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Not 100% sure, but this guy is like, you've been watching him for a little while. He's knackered, he's tired, and he says it rather flippantly. It doesn't seem like he's just straight up lying to you. Doesn't.
How old does he look?
Oh, this guy looks pretty old. He's maybe like 65-ish.
Okay.
Old looking, like he kind of looks like a wizard. He's got like a longish graying beard, like short hair, but it's kind of fuzzy and unkept.
I have another question too on top of that. How, if you were to give me a rating of, because I have a question for this cleric actually, I think, but I want a rating of 1 to 10, Brad. What would you say, like, how much more of a powerful cleric than 19 would this guy look like? Or would he seem like he's powerful? Or would he seem like he's just kind of a chump cleric? Like,
I think based on your 10 insight, he looks like he probably would be more powerful than you at the moment. Because he's old. and he seems to kind of know his way. But I mean, I don't know how you would know really.
Yeah, the question I want to ask, I just kind of look at the cleric.
Cleric-y yet.
Yeah, I kind of look at the cleric and I just kind of go, when I was studying, if I recall correctly, there was a way. Are you a standard cleric? What kind of cleric are you?
Give me a deception check. No way you remember studying.
Huh? No, like when he's a cleric, like he's gonna know there's other spells. Like he's gonna know that there's a way that clerics can bring water. So like when they're asking us to go get water,
you don't have these. You don't have your spells and training innately. You have it. You learned it afterwards.
That was like no, it was kind of like way back when it happened for sure. It would have been in the backstory for sure before he awoke, because he was definitely some kind of war cleric in the prior.
Right. So in that case, you don't remember learning anything, is what I'm saying.
You don't want me to remember learning that, then you don't want me to remember learning that.
Well, you don't. You don't remember anything other than the only thing you remember is the 2 flashbacks you've had, and the month that you've been awake.
So I would have no clue about other cleric abilities.
Everything you're doing is just muscle memory. You're just going boom and it works. You're just like, I know how to heal people, blah, and it works. I mean, it's up to you how you're remembering, but you don't have any like, you definitely don't have any like specific memories of being taught something in a way. Also, I don't think you have any idea how even a Warforged learns. Maybe Warforged learn a different way to a, because Warforged, unkindled Warforged are just homunculus. They're just robots, kinda.
Old school punch cards.
Yeah. So I don't think you would know. You can retcon what you said to him if you want, but I don't think.
No. I think what I'm gonna do then is after I ask that and we roll the 10s and we both kind of look at each other, I kind of lead the way out.
Yeah, I mean the guy was still speaking to you, even though because you asked him like how long it was, and you know you guys are like walking out, and he's just turning back to this other dude, and he says, "Oh, they've been gone for Fuse Hair. When did we send the pages out?" And one of the other clerics, a slightly younger looking cleric, turns and says, "Oh yeah, I don't know. It was a long time ago though. It shouldn't have taken them this long at all. Maybe an hour?" Shouts over towards where you are. "An hour? Oh, that's not good." He turns back and says, well, perhaps take one of the fighters with you. As you guys step out.
Did you hear him? Did he say that we should take a fighter with us?
Good thing we have you.
Yes, I suppose. Did something was off-putting about them.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Maybe we should catch up with Eron Drift. I don't like them going down by themselves.
Well, more than that, we should... What do you think about going with this caravan?
I mean, I'd rather actually just follow behind it, but it's probably better if we let ourselves rest and go with it.
That's true. Do you think it's better we follow them to this place they're going, or do you think it would be better if we headed to where we were planning to go? To the great city? To Rose Garden itself?
Well, I think I would like to head to the capital.
The more we've been here, the more I agree with that. I feel like maybe we would just be getting in the way, and/or we would be Eero telling those stories the way he's telling them. It's a matter of time before someone catches him and doesn't like what he has to say.
Well, I mean, I don't like what he has to say any of the time, so that's understandable.
I know. Well, we should catch up with them and maybe talk it over with them. He just kind of looks at the ground, looks back up at her.
I'm not sure how I feel about that orc story either.
Yes, maybe we just keep our heads low, and maybe we talk about going to the capital still.
I think that's a good idea.
Shall we?
Yes.
All right, so you guys are heading to, just following in Iridir and Drift's footsteps?
Yeah, I'm going to try to catch up, though.
Okay, so you guys speedily catch up. Iridia and Drift, rewind time a little bit. You guys set off. You make your way through the town or around the town in such a way that you can head back along maybe the road or just generally east towards. My east and west get muddled up. By the way, that's why I always struggle.
I would have tried to look around before we set off. I think I would have tried to like look around for some kind of something that we could use to transport the water.
Okay.
Because trying to carry a bucket of barrel of water long distance seems silly.
I do still have the pot.
Give me a perception check.
Okay, good. You carry the pot of
Full
water.
of blood?
A fucking
No,
mile.
I finished the blood.
See how long that lasts. You trying to carry a fucking iron pot of water for a fucking mile and a half. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna try to look around. Do you want me to go roll or anything?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
I will.
It's a 9.
I'll join him. I'll do it.
Yeah, give me one as well. Yeah.
Oh my god.
A 9 and a 7.
Yeah.
Guess what? You look around for buckets. You find one. It was destroyed in the fire. Other than that, I mean, walking around the town, just keeping an eye out, you just don't find anything that looks like you could even use it as a bucket. And anything that you do find that maybe would use as a bucket is either dirty or destroyed or broken in some way. Maybe you pick one of them up and the handle just comes loose and it falls apart.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll have to improvise, since there doesn't seem to be anything we can really transport this water with. Perhaps we can use your pot. I can rig up a sling or something for you to carry.
I pull out my backpack. Yeah, I got the pot right here. And it's still like, as I pull it out, just a drop of like blood is still like, just bouncing off it.
We'll definitely need to wash it first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this away for now until we get over there. Put it back in my backpack.
Yeah, so I guess we start like walking off. Yeah, I'll say, so Drift, excuse me if I'm being a bit forward. I mean, you don't have any reason to really talk much about well, what happened, but you did seem quite a bit rattled by the conversation about well, your past.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah, it just reminds me of times that weren't good, you know? But I'm fine. I mean, yeah, I'm good. As long as we find the company of mass one day and I get to slit their throats, everything will be great.
And I just kind of solemnly like nod my head. And I say, so if we are able to find them and you are able to kill them, do you ever feel like, well, have you ever thought that won't really help anything? Aside from stopping it from happening again, which I think is important.
Drift looks really confused. I don't know what do you mean?
Well, excuse me for saying so, but I am a bit older than you. I've had my fair share of revenge, and I have to say, it's not well, it's not what you make it out to be. It doesn't really make the feelings go away. It just sort of masks them.
See, that's funny. You say that because if I could look into the commander's eyes as I'm sticking my sword through his throat and watching him bleed profusely everywhere, I think there'd be nothing in the world more beautiful. You know?
I'm not surprised by his response. I just kind of nod my head and I say, fair enough. But something to think on.
while there may be a momentary feeling of satisfaction, revenge doesn't solve all of your problems. It doesn't make them go away. You will find that more often than not, it causes more problems.
Keep that in mind. I think I see something up at. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like I'm pretty quiet
breaking.
like after the fact.
Yeah, I'm breaking.
The two of you are just heading towards the river still, yeah? You're not looking for buckets anymore? Okay. Yeah, you guys very easily find the river. I think the quickest way to find the river is to follow the road and get to the bridge. So coming to that bridge, you very easily find the river, and obviously just left or right. In fact, left or right. You want to go left and head north, or right or south, and south down the river? Because you have to kind of step down the banks. Do you want to be on the left of the bridge or the right of the bridge? Sounds like it doesn't matter, I'm sure.
Does either side look safer than the other to take down?
It's like both are just as safe. It's just that the bridge is
Left.
a big wide thing. Left. Cool.
Pity. Puny humans.
You step down the just randomly just decide to step left of the bridge and
Yeah, I look and I see like does one way look safer than the other? Like, is there a safe? Because that's what I'm worried about. Like, are we gonna be able to walk down and walk back up again? Like,
yeah, it's not like a thing. It's like 3 feet
yeah,
down and
whatever.
then just a
No big
bang
deal.
and then you're to the river. Yeah, you step down there and you find 3 buckets on the left hand side of the bridge. The 2 of them are filled and sat by the stone. It's just poor stonework bridge. One of them is overturned, slightly filled in the edge of the river.
This is peculiar.
This is perfect. What do you mean? Look at that. They're ready for us. I got it. And I start just walking.
Drift.
What?
The buckets are here for a reason. And I start to like look around, trying to spot anything kind of out of the ordinary around the area.
Yeah, give me a perception.
Buckets would not be here on their own. Someone would have to bring them here. Why would they leave them?
For us to bring water to the people. This is obvious.
Why wouldn't they bring the buckets back with them, Drift?
Maybe they had more pressing matters.
And I start to look around like really worried now.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
19.
Why does that not work for me?
What?
Oh, there it is. 19.
What? Yes.
Yeah, you start looking about. You see on the far bank to the right, hang on, geography. Does rivers run away or to the sea?
Two.
To the sea.
To the sea. Okay, so on the far bank, south of you, the other bucket, quite far. You also hear something coming up behind you. Da-dung, 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 da-dung. You turn around, it's 19. Followed by a ring.
Jesus, Brad.
In terms of like anything else, like out of place, nothing.
I guess I like turn and see them, and I look a bit wide-eyed, like as they run up.
Are you all right?
There's something wrong.
Maybe. I think so.
What?
When
What?
we arrived, there were buckets filled with water already here, and one was overturned. It seems a bit peculiar. I don't think we were the first ones here.
I'd like to look around.
Can I do a perception check as well, please?
Yeah, for sure.
Still don't get why you guys are freaking out.
I rolled a 23.
Holy crap.
23 and 19 rolls a 12. So, looking about, you see, you see the 2 buckets that are filled, one which is overturned, and then one which is further down the river, like it's washed up on the far side, south of you. You don't see anything, but you do hear something, Rin. You hear what sounds like a sobbing woman, and it's very faint, but it's coming from north of you, not south. It's almost like you catch it on the wind.
How does it make me feel? Do I feel anything when I hear this? Is it like...
I don't think so. I think you just catch the sound of like a crying woman. Like it's very brief, and you hear it, but it definitely isn't coming from the town.
You don't hear this, right?
No, you barely catch it with your like elven ears, probably on the wind as the breeze passes. You catch this sort of sound of a sobbing woman that sounds like it's coming from the north, but it seems so out of place. You guys know that the river here leads. You can see the river goes north a little ways, and then it leads into a forest. You guys traveled along this path. This is not too far from where you encountered the kobolds, right? The sound is not coming from behind you, which is where the town is. And that's it. But it's so out of place that I think you definitely catch it with a 23. Other than that,
I think
you
we
guys
should
see
leave.
nothing else.
I think we should leave right now.
I'll be honest with both of you. When we are on our walk over here, I think that we both and all turn around and walk away with her right away. We should explain as we walk away.
What about the people?
I think we should leave.
We should talk about it as we walk.
Yes, quickly.
Don't look around.
Hero, I think you were right. Can we just calmly walk away from this scene, please?
Yes.
They need our help.
They do.
Drift, come here. I put my arm around Drift,
Wait,
and I kind of pull him to walk away with me.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry, my OBS crashed. Amazingly, that's weird though, because my internet has been dropping all day, and I gave the warning that my internet was going to go, and yet it was just an OBS crash and nothing to do with my internet.
How did OBS crash?
I don't know. It's really weird.
I've had it happen a few times.
It did that thing where, you know, when like a window grays out kind of thing. It did that. It's annoying. Well, apologies. What was the last thing that you heard?
I was putting my arm around Drift. Drift was going.
I want to help the people and the clerics, and he just like sort of just said walk, walk, and then PB was about to say something.
He was about to say something.
Robot.
Yeah.
I don't care about people.
What?
It's true. So was PB. She was getting ready to say something.
PB was about to say something.
I was. Okay, we ready? Okay.
Yeah, go back.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna explain to them very quietly in a hushed tone that I hear a woman crying coming from the north. It's not coming from the town, and the fact that all of these buckets of water are left empty makes me think that it is a trap, and I think that we should leave now.
We just keep walking with us real quick, Drift. I'll explain more when we get farther into town. And Hero, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like looking out of the corner of my eye, but I listen to Rin, and I just kind of, I look towards Drit, and I say, there wasn't much more we could do anyway.
There was not. We were discussing it on the walk over. We agreed, and if you don't, I understand that we shouldn't follow their caravan, that we should continue on our way to the capital.
Well,
Okay.
I suppose I agree. I don't think that we want to go to the smaller town anyway. From what you said, it appears we might be able to find more help in a larger area.
Yes.
So,
Well, Green Hill is on the way to the capital, so potentially we could hitch a ride in that direction and then part ways.
Maybe we should talk about it when we get back to somewhere that isn't here.
Well, we're still. Okay.
Yeah, we're like walking, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we walking towards Drit?
Yes, to where we.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I was.
Yeah, like the walk to Drip between the river and the town is like about 2 farms width, and they're pretty big farms, but it still would only take you like 10 minutes. So.
What time is it, Brad?
Maybe like 12:30 midday.
Bitch.
Oh, it's middle of the day.
Yeah, sun is in the center of the sky.
Great. Okay, cool.
The reason, Drift, that we were talking about this is when myself and Rin were at where we were when you left. We were speaking with the priests, clerics, and something seemed off. We couldn't figure out what it was. Something was off, and the captain did not seem like he was telling us anything negative. Did you stay back a little bit, didn't you, Eero? What did you converse with the captain once we left?
Well, I had a chat with the captain about some of his battle strategies. He was very insistent on the necessity that his rangers were to move out soon.
Did he not say his rangers, when we were in there before, had left a while ago?
Well, I'm not sure. Perhaps.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think that when we first got here, he had told us rangers or scouts. Was it scouts? Had went off ahead of them?
Yes. They're all gone, and then they sent men off to get water, and those men are gone.
Yes. Well, I think it's in our best interest, and this is just my opinion. Maybe we don't go back and connect with anybody that was here. Maybe we just make our way. Maybe we... And would you say we're far enough to be able to see that bridge that goes across the river, Brad? Would you say that we're like close enough to it to see that bridge that goes across the river, like kind of take that road that heads back to the capital?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can. It's flat land here.
Yeah, I would
You
say.
want to walk the King's Road alone?
Well, going with them isn't a terrible idea, but the problem I'm feeling here is that, as you said, something didn't seem right over here. And I could see it in Eero's face when we walked up. There was something amiss. And Drift, if you're wondering why I tried to pull you away so fast, is because I think you were a little naive to not realize what was happening there, potentially. It's not a call out of you or offense. Something was going on over there. It felt eerie, too. I've never had a feeling like I've had over there. It was very strange. Not something I've ever felt.
That's a very good feeling. You should learn to listen to it. We call it instinct.
I know it's instinct.
I call it luck. There's buckets right there ready for us.
Drift, you make your own luck.
Yeah, and I was really thinking we needed water for these people, and there was water sitting right across the bridge.
Should we mention to them that there were buckets that were left there?
If we do, we should only mention it to the captain.
Yes.
Not the clerics.
Very well, then I think we should. I don't expect us to be the saviors of this army. They should be able to take care of themselves, so
Yes.
I feel as if we are doing the right thing if we at least tell them about it.
And to the captain? Is that what we all agree on?
Yes.
Rin?
That's fine.
Drift?
Sure.
I'd say we make our way to the captain.
Okay, so you guys take the 10-15 minutes to head back. You plan what you're going to do and head back into the area of town. This guy has set his camp up just a little bit on the edge of the western side of the town, and yeah, you guys make your way back to him. pretty much the same thing going on. He looks a little more, maybe when you arrive, he's got like his hand on his chin, kind of like looking around. He looks a little bit kind of lost at this point. The large Zangief type is stood next to him, as well as the two fighters that were supposed to be with the carts. As you guys approach, they appear to be kind of quietly discussing something. The captain sees you guys approaching and turns and says, yes?
Captain Stonesworn, could I have a moment?
Of course.
We've discussed it amongst our group to a degree, and we plan to head to the capital. That is what we plan to do.
Very good.
You're heading in the direction of the capital, no?
Well, that wasn't the plan, but we're going to try and get these survivors at least to Green Hill.
Yes, the survivors. You said you brought the clerics you have with you came with you, correct?
Correct.
And you said you sent scouts out earlier, correct?
That's correct.
Have you been to the river recently, since you've been here?
I have not.
Well, when myself and my companion Rin and Drift had went over to the stone building that you pointed out that there were survivors, those clerics have not gotten sleep in what looks to be a day. And on top of that, the only thing that they wanted us to do was to get water. Rin did try to help one of the survivors, but did not work out well. I and Rin, we decided to stay as my friends here decided to go to the river. We caught up with them. And I don't know how to explain this, and I look over at Eero because he's good at telling stories. Eero, I think maybe you should give him...
No, you're doing quite well.
Well, upon myself and Rin arriving, there were buckets of water filled there already. When we were told to asked to get water from the clerics, it seemed a little weird that there was... Well, what was there, Drift and Eero? There was just...
There were empty buckets there. Rin's gonna reach out and touch 19's arm, just very gently.
Two full buckets and one empty one that was tossed asunder.
The captain at first kind of he's almost dismissive of you, like his thoughts are elsewhere while you're speaking. And then he kind of snaps his head towards you and says, wait, the buckets. Just the buckets?
Just the buckets.
He turns to the other three men that are there in armor and says, have you seen Emil and Jothan? Were they not to be helping the clerics? Are the three boys with the clerics?
No.
No boys with the clerics.
The clerics said that they sent them to fetch water a long time ago.
They said an hour ago is what they said as we walked out.
And the two buckets were full and one empty. It looked like maybe something happened to the page boys.
And something happened with Rin. What did you seemed to dismiss something back there. I asked, did you hear something? Did you see something?
No, I just thought it unwise that we stay.
The captain's already kind of in motion. He points at one of the men and says, you, M-Stride, go. And he points at the big guy as well. And he points at the way that you came. Oh, man. He turns and says, I'll check with the clerics. This isn't good.
If you are going to the clerics, perhaps you would like some accompaniment.
I think we should stay out of it.
And says, perhaps wait here. He heads over and he strides over towards where the stone building is. You're left with one of these fighters who just kind of like stands around for a moment, kind of awkwardly. You hear the captain speak a few words muffled inside the building, and then he steps out and strides back over towards you and says, It seems that our pages have gone. They've gone missing, and I'm a little concerned. Our rangers should have been back by now. They had the fighters with them as well. He starts to scan the horizon. He says, you saw nothing else out there?
No.
You're sure?
No. I am sure.
Right. Well, perhaps you should stay here. You can defend yourselves, yes?
We'll be fine.
Where do you plan to go?
He motions to the other fighter and says, "You'll have to stay with the cart." He turns back and says, "Why, I'm going with my men to the river."
Perhaps we should. Rin, you said we should mind our own, but perhaps. He just kind of looks down, like a not really sure what to do kind of situation.
Perhaps we should go with you.
You're welcome to join. Hunters have keen eyes. I'm concerned that these men are coming back, the company of masks. Perhaps they've set up some sort of perimeter. What if they were to return? What if they've been picking off my men one by one?
We need to help them.
Rin, may I ask you an honest question in front of this captain?
Sure.
Do you think that they should go back there?
I mean, I feel like it's the captain's duty to go back there, but I don't think that we should go back there.
Do you think we should make our way to the capital?
Yes.
Drift? Eero? As if this is so, Captain, then this will be our ado if we decide to leave.
He says, I do not recommend taking the road alone at this time, but you are free to do as you wish.
You do not is the King's Road not safe?
Well, he turns around. There is an epic level of destruction behind you. He says, well, it is likely to be a lot less safe now after this last night. You must understand. We don't know where these men went. That is what my rangers, my scouts were looking for. We cannot find any sign of them apart from the dead that they left behind.
I think that we have one of two choices, companions. We either go with the captain and his men back to the river and help them, or we wait.
I think we should go with them.
I choose A. Yeah, let's go with them.
Rin?
For Hasmel's sake. Fine, we'll go. You're all fools.
Well, then we should accompany you. Lead the way, Captain.
He nods. He looks to the single fighter. There's only one fighter left now in the town. He says, McKinnon, go find her and stay with the carts. If you hear anything, blow the horn. And he just starts striding out. Like a little ways ahead, you can see the larger form of that Zangief-looking dude that he referred to as M-Stride, and the other fighter. And then he just starts beelining for them pretty much. Not running, but swiftly moving along. He's got greaves, so he's just like ching, 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 moving through the mud. You guys following? Keeping up?
Yes.
All right. That's where we're going to end today's session.
Oh, come on, Brad. Do we see anything when we get there? Please.
We'll find out next time.
No, I want a cliffhanger. So
Brad has more time to prepare.
This is all prepared. You spent a lot longer here doing this than I thought.
Giving you shit, Brad. It's okay.
I'm strangely over-prepared even sometimes when I think I'm under-prepared. Well, thanks for playing, players.
Oh, man. Come on.
Apologies for the tech issue there. If you're watching this on the VOD in the future, you probably had to deal with some bullshit. Unless you're on YouTube, where I edited it for you. You're welcome. Look at that. Add an explosion, Brad. The wonderful players here will return next week. Next Tuesday, as we continue, we'll find out what's going on at the river.
Maybe.
We'll find out what's going on here. Seems like something's amiss, doesn't it? You guys seem a little unsure, a little perturbed, maybe, a little scared, perhaps.
And it's kind of funny, like, I think my character's not scared at all, but I feel like my character, as he's growing and, like, kind of knows Rin a little, he can, like, feel the fucking, like, whatever the hell's coming off of Rin, for sure.
Dude, as soon as you get a
Rin
match thrown at you, you're going to be freaking out.
Rin is
One
fucking
little
paranoid
fireball.
as shit, though. Rin, like, the paranoia in Rin has spread through the group like wildfire. Or should I say...
Darkfire.
No, purple fire. I'm kidding.
We'll take you to the limits.
The paranoia is rife. Is it just? We shall find out next time. Thanks for playing. Let's do a quick round of shout outs. Let's start with Pumpkinberry. She explains what the fuck is going on over there. What's happening?
My cat just knocked over something. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Where can people find you and stuff?
You can find me here twice a week, so I'll be back again on Friday, playing Identity Crisis, where Whack is the GM, which is super exciting. And then you can find me on twitch.tv/pumpkinberry. Right now, I am playing through Persona 4 JRPG. Super exciting. Yeah, and I role play on Thursdays at 2 p.m. EDT with Blue Jay as two moms, one son. We play the forest. We are trying to find our son. It's a horror game. So, yeah,
That's
it.
finding children all the
Yep.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Always finding children. All right. Well, there you go, Pumpkinberry, everybody. Mr.
Thank
Tiger
you.
Writer, where can people find you?
I stream over at twitch.tv/Tiger Rider, where typically I usually start streaming right after this show. But this is kind of one of those nights where I can honestly say with anybody that's watching, since you're in here, you obviously probably like D&D. I'm actually starting up a game that was just released today called Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's kind of like that, Neverwinter Divinity 2 Pillars of Eternity type style game. So if you guys like D&D and you like stuff like that, we're probably going to spend like the first half of the stream making a character or something like that. So if you get bored, I'm going to be going live pretty much right after the show gets done. I stream Saturday through Wednesdays about 5 p.m. PST and around this time. And I got a Twitter, Tiger Rider TV, and an Instagram, which is just Tiger Rider. And thanks for watching. That was a really fun episode.
Really fun.
Cool. Tiger Rider, everybody, or LT Gray. If you
El Tigre.
if you want to follow him on twitch.tv/LT Gray, you can. That's where he streams as a different person. That's probably taken. I just realized then someone probably is twitch.tv/LT Gray.
Somebody is LT Gray.
John Sandman, where can people find you throughout the week?
Hey guys, twitch.tv/John Sandman. I don't do any other role play throughout the week, but I do a lot of variety, a lot of random games. I think yesterday we played, what was yesterday? Monday, I played UFC 3 and NHL 19, and then Sunday we played chess and marble racing. Literally, my stream is just a shit show. So if you like,
It's amazing.
if you like things like that, it's literally just every day. I think tomorrow we're playing Spider-Man. I don't know. It's just whatever we feel like playing, we play. So I'd love to say hello to you guys in there. But I stream late night, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 days a week. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Damn, that is late for me.
Sucks for Europe.
I know.
Sucks for
Isn't
East
that like
Coast.
the time
It's
that
great
Brad
for
wakes
Australia.
up?
Australia loves me.
If I get up early enough, I see the end of John's streams sometimes.
Yeah.
Where he's
Yeah.
like, all right,
Back
well,
in the
that was
day,
great.
not
Bye."
anymore. I end a little earlier
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because of my son.
Never see
But-
you on streaming. I'm like, he doesn't stream. He never streams, but
You're the
it's like you stream while I'm asleep. Somebody else who streams while I'm asleep, Wax Steven.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wax Steven, and I'm normally the DM or GM of Doom here on this channel. Don't listen to Noodle. Just follow this channel because I do all the stuff here these days. And I'm doing a new thing. We've got Identity Crisis this Friday, this is a crazy weekend because we got Identity Crisis on Friday after crazy session last time. Saturday is the finale of Warped, the sci-fi space opera show that we do. Sunday is the premiere of Spark of Eternity, a new D&D 5th edition show with Classy Katie, McQuanis, OMG Vandy, Peachy Pixelate, and Zagoticus. And I'm also there's also going to be a big announcement on Sunday as well. We're doing an announcement.
You're having a baby.
Yes,
buddy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Wank Steven.
That explains why I'm fat. So thanks everybody for watching. Much appreciated. Thank you to Brad, Tiger, PB, John. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us. You guys are awesome. Much appreciated. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna go and splice this video into one video. Probably not even tonight because it takes forever. But we'll see you next week, where hopefully there's no tech issues and I'm not as scatterbrained from tech issues all day. We'll see. Maybe.
Stag-brained.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what kind of state I'm in next time. Let's put it this way.
Get you right.
If I'm crazy next week, then maybe
Roll for it. Roll for it right now.
Horrific, monstrous beast.
Roll for it, dude. Are you gonna be crazy next week?
I rolled a 9.
It's gonna be an average week.
So,
See you guys next week for an average.
Be an average one next one. See you. See you for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.
Bye. Thank you.
Tiger talking this. Karate chop.
Let's break your wrist.
Oh, for
Wake
shit.
up. It's whack out. Get it right.
Do it again.
Break your wrist.
Do it again. Do it again.
Whack out, dogs.
Whack out.
All right.
Hey.
Whack, you're not even doing it right.
God's sake, Whack. Do it again.
I created
do it again,
it.
Whack.
Do
Do it again,
No,
Whack.
that's your thing. You got to break the
Whack,
record.
hurry, you're doing
What is right? Do it again.
Break your wrist. Break it.
My friend
Even on
Ben,
screen.
who
He's cropped out. He's cropped
Please
out.
tell me you cut off while we were still bitching.
No, we're still live.
No, he's
Oh!
Still live.